This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome into the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at noon on your Monday afternoon, taking a live look outside here in the Milwaukee area. A pretty nice day. I know we dealt with the chance of rain for a lot of the weekend. Today there are some clouds in the sky, but for now the sun is shining. The humidity is down, which is very much appreciated after some of the hot and humid days that we've had recently. Sitting at 75 degrees here at noon. We'll get you a full check of your forecast coming up at about 12:30, but taking a live look here at Mitchell International Airport while we watch at least one plane kind of taxi either to or from the airport this afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'll be with you until 1:30. Then Maddie Stelk is going to take over. Eventually Ben Handelman is also going to join you right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I want to take you out to a live event that is happening right now. It is the Downtown Employee Appreciation Week here in Milwaukee. The opening ceremony just wrapped up a little bit ago at Red Arrow Park. As we take a live look there, you can see lots of sort of fun activities and booths set up here for anyone who stops by. I like that Milwaukee Admirals tent we just passed. Big fan of the Admirals here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Also a part of this ceremony that just wrapped up, free lunch giveaways. That's right. The first 1,000 people that came today were given a chicken Caesar wrap as well as some cookies. Technically, this event is going to go on for another hour. If you work downtown or you know somebody who works downtown, you can stop by, check out some of these booths, hopefully still grab one of those free lunches. But the fun will really continue all day long from 3 to 5 p.m. They have open play pickleball here at Red Arrow Park, no registration required. And then from 5 to 8 p.m. it's going to become an I Work Downtown pickleball tournament here at Red Arrow Park. So definitely a good day if you are a pickleball player. Looks like these are some of the folks here getting that free lunch. I like that there's also some games, some activities, some prizes to sign up for. Again, just celebrating the 21st annual Downtown Employee Appreciation Week. Okay, we got some of the racing sausage plushies here, some cheese heads, got all the sports you could need for Wisconsin represented right there. So again, if you're watching right now, wondering how you can get free lunch downtown, oh wait, is this guy gonna hit the hockey puck at the Admirals booth? No pressure. Do you think he knows he's live on the Wisconsin Live Desk? He looks happy. I think he might be accomplished it. Oh, they've got a very tiny little goal set up. Delaney, he made it! Congratulations to this sir who is having the time of his life for his lunch break right now, playing hockey with the Admirals as well as getting a free lunch. Again, that's going to go from now until 1 p.m. and then later on today here at Red Arrow Park, they will have that pickleball chance, whether it's open play or a tournament style. So lots of fun. Jealous of everybody who works downtown who's able to go and attend this, but I appreciate our photojournalists bringing us to the gathering here. And as you can see, some people actually able to eat those lunches outside thanks to the current weather situation that we have. So again, that was a live look here at the 21st Annual Downtown Employee Appreciation Week. Earlier, we heard from Mayor Cavalier Johnson as well as from Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley at that opening ceremony. So definitely stay tuned to some of our afternoon newscasts to hear from them. Until then, this lady's trying her shot now to make that puck go in the net like the last guy. All sorts of fun happening right now at Red Arrow Park. Oh, just missed it, but she still got a free lunch, so she's really a winner in my book. Again, that was a fun little live look right there at Red Arrow Park. In the meantime, I actually want to get us out to a Vegas courtroom, and I do want to note in a little bit Jason Calvey is going to join us with some breaking news from the state fairgrounds, but I want to get us to a Las Vegas courtroom where opening statements are currently underway in a trial many have waited decades for. It is the trial of the murder here of Tupac. So again, this gentleman that we're seeing right now, Dwayne, is facing murder charges for the murder of Tupac Shakur, the rapper, back in 1996. So opening statements underway right now, and we're going to go ahead and listen in here for a little bit. I know a lot of Tupac supporters were outside the courtroom earlier today. Obviously a case that so many people followed for years, since 1996, and back in 2023 was when there was finally an update here, and now we are here in the murder trial happening live right now in Las Vegas. Let's listen in together.
To implicate himself in the Tupac Shakur murder. Zip Martin at that time was dying of cancer, was out of the game, and really did not engage with Dwayne Davis. In 2009, though, Dwayne Davis gives an interview to Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Detective Dan Long. Now, Dwayne Davis is more guarded in that interview. It is a different setting than the interview of 2008. It's not a secret proffer agreement. But Dwayne Davis does admit a number of things. That he was in Las Vegas, that he was mad about Orlando Anderson getting beat, that he was the boss, that he was in the white Cadillac, and that he procured the firearm that ultimately killed Tupac Shakur. Then, in 2011, the landscape changes. Because in 2011, Greg Kading, the guy who was leading the task force in 2008, the guy who organized the secret proffer between Dwayne Davis and the federal task force, he leaves law enforcement and decides he's going to publish a book about his investigation into Biggie Smalls, the guy who was killed 6 months after Tupac, and Tupac Shakur. And what he puts in the book is that Dwayne Davis confessed to the murder of Tupac Shakur. The book tells the story about his admission, about himself, but it also tells the story of Dwayne Davis telling about his nephew's involvement in the murder, about Big Dre's involvement in the murder, about Terrence Brown's involvement in the murder. And this is a problem for Dwayne Davis, because that meeting was supposed to be secret. And now his cooperation with federal authorities is open to the world. Not only that, Greg Kading is now profiting off Dwayne Davis's life story. So, in 2017, Dwayne Davis decides to go public. He's approached by the producers of a show called Death Row Chronicles that appears on BET. And this is just a small portion of what he says is his motivation for appearing.
Put away in DVD days, I was popping, kingpin, drug dealer. I'm the only one alive that really can tell you the story about the Tupac Shakur. People have been pursuing me for 20 years. Newspapers, magazines. I'm coming out now to tell the story because I got cancer. I got nothing else to lose. All I care about now is the truth.
Dwayne Davis says, all I want to do now is tell the truth. And in the 2017 public interview, he's a little evasive, but he admits to being the boss. He admits to being in the white Cadillac. And he admits to be part of the murder of Tupac Shakur. And when he says he's the only person that can tell what happened, he's right. Because by 2017, Terrence Brown is deceased. DeAndre Smith is deceased. Orlando Baby Lane Anderson is deceased. Terrence Brown was murdered in an unrelated incident. Orlando Anderson was murdered in an unrelated incident. And DeAndre Smith died from health issues. Remarkably, in 2019, Dwayne Davis then decides he's going to publish his own book. And with regards to the book, it is certainly a lot of self-aggrandizement. But again, the core remains. He was mad about Orlando Anderson about the beating of Orlando Anderson, his nephew. He was in Las Vegas. He got the gun. He was in the white Cadillac, and he handed the gun to the shooters. And what you'll notice is a constant thing that always goes through these statements is Dwayne Davis's visceral anger at Tupac Shakur for putting hands on his nephew. In the book, he says, them jumping on my nephew gave us the ultimate green light to do something to their ass. Then, Dwayne Davis decides that he's going to do public interviews regarding his role in the murder of Tupac Shakur.
So you ended up getting in the car with Baby Lane and them?
Yeah, the car was on, yeah. We running it in, went to the light on Sunset and Flamingo, and dude, we acted like he was in a parade or something, and that BMW hanging out the window, hey, this Tupac,
Davis's public admissions mirror his private life. He admits to being a leader of Southside Crips. He admits the significance of the fight over the death row chain at the Lakewood Mall. He admits to being in Las Vegas the night of the fight. He admits to being angry that Tupac stomped Orlando Anderson at the MGM. He admits that he was hunting down Tupac and Suge, first going to 662. He admits that he got a Glock 40 from Eric Zip Martin for the purposes of hunting Tupac. He admits that he was in a white Cadillac with his gang members looking for Tupac. He admits to seeing Tupac in a black BMW and then changing directions, making that U-turn to confront Tupac and Suge. He admits to putting the gun he obtained that night in the back seat of the vehicle so the shooters could shoot. And again, what remains, even as late as 2020, 2021, 22, is Dwayne Davis's visceral anger at Tupac Shakur.
He didn't. My nephew never jumped on no fucking Tupac. Come on, man. Tupac was wrong with two little fucking shoes. I mean, don't you think he was wrong? Honestly.
I mean, yeah, I think he could have, reacted in a better way.
You listen, you don't think that man is wrong?
He could have reacted in a better way, I guess. I mean,
I'm talking. Vlad is his fucking biggest fan. He admitted that man is wrong, man.
I mean, he was wrong, man, but that was only done out of loyalty, man.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Come on, he never jumped. My nephew didn't jump on it. He jumped on my nephew.
Listening in right now live to some of the evidence being presented in the opening statements here. Again, Dwayne on trial for the murder of Tupac Shakur. Of course, the rapper was murdered back in 1996 for a very long time. This was a cold case, but eventually they had kind of a crack in that case back in 2023. Opening statements underway for a trial so many people have anticipated really for decades. I do apologize for some of the graphic language being used in the kind of evidence, the videos they're showing the jury right now. We'll keep our eye on this feed and we'll kind of bring you in and out of that courtroom throughout the Wisconsin Live desk over the next couple of hours. Do want to get to a little bit of breaking news here. We have been reporting the death here of 36-year-old actress Hayden Panettiere since this morning. She was found dead in Greenville, South Carolina yesterday afternoon. A lot of people wondering the cause of death here. We are learning from a preliminary autopsy result that just came in that no signs of trauma at the time of death were found, according to the coroner's office reports here. Again, we are told the first responders and emergency medical services arrived on scene and found a female in cardiac arrest. This is all according to the Greenville County Coroner's Office. Again, she was found dead in Greenville, South Carolina. EMS personnel initiated advanced cardiac life support measures. However, resuscitation efforts were unsuccessful, and the individual was pronounced dead at 2:32 p.m. At autopsy, no signs of trauma were discovered that would have contributed to the death. That's according to the coroner's statement. The cause and manner of death remain pending further investigation and the completion of additional studies. Again, this is an investigation that is active and ongoing, but the latest update here, again, she was found with no signs of trauma that would have contributed to her death. So many tributes and memories being poured in this afternoon as so many people remember Hayden Panettiere from the TV shows that she starred in, from the movies that she starred in. Also an actress who is very open about some of her struggles over the last decade or so. She talked in depth about the postpartum depression that she was dealing with after the birth of her young daughter, and then again detailing some of the addiction issues she had later in life. She had a book come out earlier this year where she was very vulnerable about some of her struggles. Again, a child star as well. So I know a lot of people devastated by the news of the passing of Hayden Panettiere. Again, she was 37 years old. She was very, very young here. And we will continue to pass along any updates. 36 years old. She would have been 37 in just a couple of days. But of course, we'll continue to pass along any updates as they come into our room, our newsroom. And again, the most recent update there was just no signs of trauma, according to preliminary autopsy results. We're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and we'll get back to some other news for you right after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 12:17 on your Monday afternoon. Taking a live look here from our Estabrook camera, where again you can see the sun is shining. I can't emphasize this enough. The humidity is actually not brutal for once. I feel like the last weekend we had some very hot and humid days. Just sitting at 75 degrees right now, so it's definitely pleasant, a great opportunity to get outside. Dealing with some cloud cover, but nothing too bad. Of course, we'll get you a full look at your forecast coming up here at about 12:30. In the meantime, I want to get us back out to that Las Vegas courtroom. We're continuing to listen to opening statements here. Again, this is the murder trial of really Tupac Shakur, which he was murdered back in 1996. So many people have been wondering if there would ever be a murder trial. We know this courtroom was filled with a lot of supporters for the late rapper earlier today. Again, this is now the trial of Dwayne Davis. He is charged in the murder of Tupac, and he has pleaded not guilty, but he does face up to life in prison if convicted. So we'll go ahead and continue listening into these opening statements being presented to the jury.
It was at Flamingo Cobble on a Saturday night in the middle of a fight between Mike Tyson and Bruce Seldon. It was very busy when he arrived. And he arrived at a time where he was able to determine cartridge casings, .40 caliber, that was found at the scene. That's another fact for you. But at some point they're going to learn, he learns that potentially it was a Glock 40 that was the actual firearm that was used in this case. And then when crime scene analysts arrive on scene, they document the evidence. And they document the cars. That will be important, and you'll determine at some point why the cars are documented. And with regard to Detective Becker, what he'll tell you is police officers write reports. Critical. Hugely important. Why? Because at some point in the future, like in this case 30 years later, Detective Becker will not remember details like he would if he had, what? His report in front of him. And that's going to be important for you to consider in this case. Now, what Detective Becker does, though, is because of the outcry, the attention, the media focus on this case, he took his file and he secured it in his office under lock and key. Because he was worried about leaks in Metro, leaking information out to the public, because so many people wanted to know answers to the question as to what happened and who did this to Tupac Shakur. Now, what you're going to find is, when Detective Becker testifies in this case, that a lot of his reports are now missing. They're gone. Which is Metro's responsibility to hold and to pass on to the next detective, and then finally to the next detective. Now, Detective Becker also did not trust Compton PD. Why is that important in this case? Because there's an individual by the name of Reggie Wright Sr. He was a lieutenant working in Compton in charge of the gangs in Compton in terms of investigations. His son is Reggie Wright Jr. He was the head of security for Death Row Records. The same security that was here in Las Vegas on the 9th of September 7th, 1996. Death Row Records was affiliated with Mob Pyru Blood, and Detectives Ladd and Brennan from Compton answered directly to Reggie Wright Sr. Becker did not trust Compton PD. And the one thing that he really didn't trust is that most of their information came from confidential informants that were not reliable. And he'll tell you that. And because of his intuition, Compton PD was shut down in September of 2000 due to internal corruption. They just evaporated that police department, and the sheriff's department for LA County absorbed the responsibilities for the police department in Compton because of the corruption that was there. Now what facts, right? Just like the pads of paper that you have in your hand and the pens that you have in your hand, what facts can we determine from Detective Becker's efforts? First and foremost, we know that Tupac was shot multiple times. That's a fact. That can be proven. We know that it was with a .40 caliber firearm. That's a fact, due to the cartridge casings. On the corner of Flamingo and Cobble. That's also a fact. Right? We're on board so far? We know the date, September 7th, 1996. That is a fact. At 11:17 p.m., we know that to be a fact as well. And then finally, that he was in a vehicle during election night, and that Tupac died 6 days later. Those are facts that will not be refuted by anybody in this courtroom during the time we spend together. But here's the one thing. There are no facts to point to Keefe. Not one. And you're going to hear about this over and over and over again. No facts like the microphone in your hand or the pad of paper that you have that you write on. Detective Long takes over the case in 2002, and he has it from 2002 to 2017. He was, interestingly enough, on the gang unit, and at the time of the shooting, he was in gangs, and he had been one of the first to arrive on scene. He will testify and tell you that every time he did something on this file, he wrote a report. Because that's important. That's what you do as a police officer. And he conducted follow-up interviews, and he made some travel to Compton. He will tell you those things. That's his role in all of this. But here's the thing. Detective Long also encountered some challenges in this case. They had to hide the case file with Metro because people were still accessing the file in Metro, and they weren't authorized to do so. So they changed the case number so that people couldn't find the file. In addition to that, what you're going to learn is LAPD reached out to him, called him up and said, hey, Detective Long, we have the gun. And we've tested it, and it matches back to what you're looking for in terms of the weapon that killed Tupac Shakur. Detective Long goes to LAPD, gets the gun, transports it back, gets it tested, and it comes out as not a match. LAPD tells him after, we gave you a fake gun to test you out. This is the level of, I don't know how to put it, that was going on during this time period between Metro, LAPD, and Compton. This is what's happening during this time period. Leads, according to Detective Long, became very scarce and stale, meaning that it was just taking a long time for him to follow up with people. Witnesses became unavailable. Why do you think that is? Because of time. So as a result, memories started failing because of that time. So Detective Long had these challenges. But here's what Detective Long does. He interviews Keefe in 2009. Sits him down, has an interview with Keefe, just like the state said. And guess what happens? Detective Long doesn't even know that Keefe had actually spoken to a task force the year before. How is that possible? Metro is the agency responsible for the investigation of Tupac Shakur's murder, and they don't even know about this. No one in that room.
Again, we're continuing to listen in right now at opening statements that's happening in the Tupac Shakur murder case. A jury right now hearing about a crime committed almost 30 years ago. Again, Tupac was murdered back in 1996. So we'll keep our eye here on this trial throughout the next several weeks. Testimony is expected to take a little bit. So opening statements underway now in a Las Vegas courtroom, and we'll get you back out here shortly. Did want to kind of change the tone here to some random but very cool news here in Wisconsin. If you don't remember, I love Ed Sheeran. I saw him at Summerfest, and Ed Sheeran apparently loves Wisconsin a lot because he was in Oshkosh over the weekend. This is a post from Leon's Frozen Custard where they said that yesterday Ed Sheeran stopped in for a visit and took a photo op with a couple of their car hops. I am so jealous of these girls who showed up to work on a Sunday and were rewarded by getting to meet the pop star that is Ed Sheeran. Why was he in Oshkosh? We don't have those answers for you yet. I could tell you he played in Minneapolis on Saturday. I thought about going to see his full set list, but for sure he was in Oshkosh yesterday. This might be the most random celebrity sighting for sure. We know he made a couple other stops in the area as well. Checked out a vintage store while he was there, so if we get answers as to why he was there, we'll let you know. But how cool for us that he was just right here in Wisconsin, in the Badger State. And of course he would stop and take photos with some of his fans. He seems to be so genuine whenever I've seen him live, which As I mentioned, we did see him live at Summerfest. There was quite the few of us FOX6 crew there, actually. There's a photo of me and Nicola, as well as Maddie. We all love Ed Sheeran, so I think we're probably all a little bit jealous that we weren't in Oshkosh yesterday. But again, a very cool moment for everyone who got to meet him here in the Badger State. And speaking of some of my favorite artists coming to Wisconsin, I had a sneak peek yesterday at an announcement that was going to come out because Pfizer Forum teased it, and I right away knew what it was, but it was confirmed earlier this morning. You guys, the Jonas Brothers, they're coming back to Pfizer Forum. They were here last October. Now they're coming back November 1st, and they're bringing their Burnin' Up tour all over again to Pfizer Forum. This is really cool. So they originally announced this tour as kind of 3 nights only in Madison Square Garden, actually coming up this weekend, which, spoiler alert, I'm off Thursday and Friday. You won't see me here on the live desk because I will be in New York for this concert. But it was met with so much kind of demand and support and excitement that they're bringing it now all over the country, including a stop right here in Milwaukee. Milwaukee actually sold out for them last time, and we hope that it happens again. So I can tell you right now, I will absolutely be getting tickets to this show. I know some people are like, oh, but you're already seeing the same set in New York. It's like you don't know me if you think I'm not going to see the Jonas Brothers when they're here in Milwaukee. This will be really fun, though. So if you are a Jonas Brothers fan or you know a Jonas Brothers fan, what's kind of unique is back in 2008, they did their Burnin' Up tour. It was kind of their biggest tour at the moment. It was right as they were taking off. Some of their top songs were on that set list. So they're doing a 2-act tour. So the first act is going to be redoing in its entirety that 2008 World Tour. So the set list is going to be exactly what it was back in 2008. Then they're going to take a little intermission. They're going to come out, and then they're going to do some of their newer songs, some of the things that weren't quite out in 2008, but that continue to really tell their story and how far they've come. So the good news is I can give you a full report on this concert and this tour as of next week after I see it on Friday, and then we can all see it together on November 1st. But I will absolutely be there. I'm thrilled that the Jonas Brothers are coming back to Wisconsin, and not just Wisconsin, but right here in Milwaukee. And if this is your first time tuning in to the Wisconsin Live Desk, I will apologize now. Quite the big Jonas Brothers fan here. I'll bring them up often. So, of course, when they're coming to Pfizer Forum, it just makes my day. The amount of texts that I have received today from people who think I don't know is so sweet. But don't worry, you guys. I'm well aware, and I am already marking on my calendar when I'll be getting tickets. This says Friday, August 21st. That's general on sale. If you want them a little earlier, I can give you a couple of tips. I'll be buying mine Wednesday, but I don't want to give away too many secrets to Lainey because I'm going to be fighting for the best seats. But just know I'll be buying mine on Wednesday.
You're not going to share why?
No, I mean, if somebody really wants to buy there on Wednesday, they can reach out to me and I'll help them. But otherwise, you guys can buy them on Friday when they go on sale after I get them. Well, there's also a Thursday pre-sale, so I'll share my secrets once I have secured my tickets. That seems fair.
That's fair.
Are you going to go with me?
That could be fun.
I don't think Delaney would enjoy it the same way.
I don't think I'd enjoy it the same way, but they would be fun to see live.
Well, you can slack me your budget, and I'll let you know if we'll be going together.
Sounds good.
We were talking about things on Real Milwaukee today that are worth the money, and for me it's absolutely concert tickets. I will always splurge for a good concert ticket, especially when it's the Jonas Brothers, which also I just noticed that Adrian got a clip up of Ed Sheeran, so we're going to show this clip of Summerfest Ed Sheeran as well. This was during the song Camera, where he had people put their camera flashes on, and it was beautiful. And again, Ed Sheeran was here in Milwaukee back in June, and he loved it so much he was back in Oshkosh as of yesterday. How cool is that? So jealous of all these employees. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and we're going to get you a check of your forecast right after this. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 12:33 on your Monday afternoon. I'll be with you for about the next hour. Then Maddie Stelk's going to take over, and eventually Ben Handelman as well, as we get you all the way to 4 p.m. here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. And suddenly I am in the best mood. That's probably because I just got to talk about Ed Sheeran and the Jonas Brothers. And now I'm being joined with Stephanie. I mean, the day just couldn't get better for me.
Okay. Ed Sheeran, Jonas Brothers, Stephanie.
That's so not true. Not true at all. It's like, it is Jonas Brothers.
Of course.
But then it's like Ed Sheeran, Stephanie.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an honor.
Yeah.
A true honor.
That's how much I love you.
Thank you. Ditto. Well, hello, Haley. And hello, everybody watching Live Desk at this hour. It's a beautiful, beautiful Monday. A little bit more cloud cover than sunshine, but that's okay because remember, over the weekend we were so focused on how high the humidity was. It was just dreadful at times, and thankfully today's been a whole lot better. The dew point is right around 63, which normally, we do consider low 60s noticeable, a little sticky. Not compared to the weekend. It feels very nice outside on this Monday. 75 degrees, by the way. And elsewhere, dew points are in the 50s. So even those of us still southern lakeshore out towards the west in the low 60s, we will likely see our dew points drop a little bit more throughout the remainder of the afternoon. This is a significant change compared to the weekend. Most of us, a good 10 to 15 degrees lower right now of dew points compared to just 24 hours ago. That high humidity moved in really quickly on Saturday, was still in full force Sunday. Although if you were out yesterday, early evening, the dew point did start to drop. Yesterday evening was actually quite pleasant across our area. Just a couple of clouds out there right now. Inland area is a little sunnier than what northern and lakeshore communities have right now. But all in all, it's a very quiet and a very nice Monday to be out and about. From here, as we look ahead to Tuesday and even, the week as a whole, we have only a few chances for showers and thunderstorms one of those days tomorrow, and then we'll watch maybe Friday into Saturday. So we do still have plenty of dry time this week as well. Tomorrow's comes along with a cold front that is out towards the west right now. So we have some time. Most of the start of Tuesday will be dry. We'll more so hone in on Tuesday afternoon and evening for a chance of storms. Breezing through today, though, more of the same as we've had so far this morning. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Temperatures nearing 80 this afternoon. Very comfortable dew points. Some sunshine to start Tuesday, although can't completely rule out a stray shower Tuesday morning, but most of what we will see will be throughout the afternoon. In fact, it may hold off until our mid to late afternoon hours and then pick up a little bit at a scattered rate throughout the evening. Now, tomorrow is our Brew Crew Tuesday. We will have live coverage from the Brewers game. Right on cue, Haley shows American Family Field where the roof is open right now. So yes, we'll of course need to watch tailgating conditions. We are so thankful for that roof because game time weather doesn't really matter. But for our live coverage and, of course, anybody tailgating tomorrow, it will be an afternoon to pay attention to essentially where these storms pop up. I'm not expecting a widespread, complex of storms to move through. These will likely be scattered, but something still to pay attention to if you're going to be out and about. Now, Wednesday, we dry right back out. Dew points drop again. Wednesday and Thursday look to be really nice days here locally as well. I'm not very concerned with severe weather for tomorrow. The chance for storms, once again, going to be scattered. Can't completely rule out a stronger storm here or there. We're all under a marginal risk right now. If we do end up seeing a stronger thunderstorm, I think just some gustier wind is going to be a possibility. The better chance, and even that's not the best chance, but a somewhat better chance is actually towards the southwest of us where you see that slight risk. So again, this is for Tuesday. Most of southern Wisconsin under that marginal risk. I think the storms will be scattered. Something to pay attention to. May bring some gusty wind, but nothing to stir up any weather anxiety or anything like that. Now, temperatures for the remainder of today going to top out around 80. We are going to heat up a little bit more tomorrow, though, out ahead of that cold front. So Tuesday is going to be a bit warmer, maybe a bit stickier as well. Then we settle right around average Wednesday, Thursday in the upper 70s, and then 80s are back then Friday and Saturday. Dew points top of mind, of course, after how muggy the weekend was. Today will be very pleasant. I do think we'll see somewhat of a spike in dew points tomorrow into Wednesday morning, but then those should drop a little bit. Thursday looking pretty good, and then you'll notice with that next rain chance late in the week and over the weekend, dew points start to climb again. Nothing terribly substantial in this week's forecast. I know, again, we'll watch those thunderstorms potentially popping tomorrow afternoon and evening, but besides that, even Friday's chance for rain right now is pretty slight. We'll more so watch Saturday. So look ahead to a pretty good week. No 70-degree dew points in the forecast like the weekend, so that, of course, is a bonus too, Haley.
Absolutely. And as we look over Red Arrow Park, that's, of course, the location right now of the 21st Annual Downtown Employee Appreciation Week,
yes,
where they have free lunch right now until 1 p.m., which is always really nice. I'm jealous of that.
Yeah, great weather for it, that's for sure.
People were eating outside, taking advantage of it. All right.
They should.
Thanks, Steph.
Yep, no problem.
I always appreciate the weather update there. I want to get us out to the Oval Office. President Trump just kind of opened up the doors here moments ago for media to come in. But he is meeting today with Ryder Williams. He is a lifeguard that really risked his own life to save a 10-year-old boy while he was repeatedly being pounded by waves just a little bit ago. So again, sitting next to him is Ryder Williams. It'll happen in Santa Cruz, California. But we'll go ahead and listen in to what President Trump has to say from the Oval Office.
Made it without him, and you said, not really, right? Not really, it was trouble. Yeah. So you're going to have a long and beautiful life.
Thank you.
And I just thought it was, we were all watching, everybody watched, and got a lot of publicity because of the ferocity of the waves. I've never seen waves. I mean, that was sort of violent. We were just discussing, and at certain times of the year, mostly like right around now, the waves get very rough in that area, and they're swirling, and if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to be tough, or if you're small, if you're young. So I just want to congratulate Nathaniel Ray for coming through an ordeal. That means you're going to have good luck in life. You know, that's called good luck. I want to say hello to your father, and came along for we invited them to the Oval Office and to the White House. After this, if you'd like, we're going to have them brought up to the Lincoln bedroom, where you see the room of Abraham Lincoln. That's pretty good, right? And also your sister. It's really nice. We have some of the people that Nathaniel and that work so much on the whole process with Nathaniel, and were with Ryder right from the beginning. And I guess you learned from these people. They taught you how to do what you do so well, Ryder, right?
Yes, sir. They trained me.
And Nathaniel's very happy about that, Ryder, I have to tell you. Shane Williams, the father of Ryder. Thank you very much, Shane. You did a good job.
Thank you.
I see you're in one of my favorite uniforms.
Yes, sir.
I'm a big fan of that.
Thank you.
You couldn't be happier, right?
I couldn't be more proud.
When you saw that on television.
Yes.
It was incredible, actually. Shannon Williams, that's the mom. So you did a good job. It's good genetics. When you look at him, you can see really good. Summit Ray, that's the father. Thanks again, Summit. Appreciate it. Layla Ray, sister of Nathaniel. Thank you, honey. Aaron Bonin, Santa Cruz lifeguard, who assisted Ryder, and he became quite famous also. That was a good assist. He helped you a lot, right?
Yes, sir.
He helped you a lot. Thank you very much. Great job. Fantastic. Alex Luscutoff, Chief of Law Enforcement and Emergency Service in Santa Cruz. Thank you. Great job you guys are doing.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Justin McHenry, Assistant Chief of Aquatics and Lifeguard Operations, Santa Cruz. Good job. Were you responsible for the training?
Yes, I help oversee and
That's
guide
good.
the training for our lifeguard program.
And for a lot of the lifeguards, right?
We train about 200 lifeguards a year,
Great. At that age, too.
starting at 16.
Starting at 16. That's a lot. I read that that's a lot to do for a 16-year-old. That's not easy.
It's a huge responsibility, and it requires a lot of
That he did it so well, right?
integrity and resilience. And I think this particular rescue that Ryder performed really exemplifies what we're looking for in a state park lifeguard.
And you couldn't let go for an instant. If you let go for 1 instant, it'd be very hard to find, right?
Oh, absolutely. In those conditions, losing a victim would be disastrous.
Yeah, really amazing. You have no idea the respect. Joel, where's Joel? State Park Superintendent, lifeguard, Santa Cruz. Joel, thank you very much. That's dinner hour, right? Good job, Joel. And Mike McAnamy, State Park Superintendent, Santa Cruz.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Well, we're honored to have all of you. And again, what you did was incredible, and everybody saw it. And you'd watch it over and over. I know when I first saw it, I said, roll that back. I want to see that again. Is that really happening? And both of you people have to be very proud. The whole group is proud. And your father is the happiest man in the world, you know that? Because I asked him a question. I said, so if that didn't happen, your life would be ruined. And you said, it would be a whole different life, right?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
No question. It's
Yeah.
incredible what Ryder did. I'm just beyond grateful to him and Aaron and the rest of the team and even the Good Samaritans that were there. I mean, it's just such a privilege to be sitting next to him today.
Yeah.
And be able to celebrate his birthday tomorrow.
And I'll bet you'll stay a little bit related to this group of people. Because you
Absolutely.
realize what a fantastic job they did.
We're a great
Probably, you know, it's interesting because they're saying that you have in that area so many different saves. You're saying that night you help somebody out. Maybe not to that extent, but you help somebody out. But maybe lifeguards don't get the credit they deserve. This really showed how important it is. And certain areas. So certain areas of the country, you could say, are just very susceptible to people getting in trouble, right? And was this one of the worst on the state, on that entire coast? I mean, do you have other areas? Because that looks like a very dangerous place, the way
Yeah.
those waves, on a beautiful day, right?
The characteristics on that given day made it a little more difficult. You know, it was a warm day, so there's lots of folks on the beach recreating, and then combine it with that large surf and the strong currents that we had in the area made it treacherous. But California's coastline is very diverse, and we have very remote and rugged sections of coastline that our lifeguards work on every day.
Do you have areas where you don't have lifeguards that are very dangerous and people innocently go swimming and they don't have a chance, probably, right?
There certainly are unguarded areas within the state and around the nation, and people getting in without the knowledge or ability to recreate in those waters can be extremely dangerous.
And you have a lot of that. Is this one of the more dangerous areas, the swirl?
I would say it's during the summer months. It's one of our more dangerous summer beaches. Yes.
Yeah, it looked amazing, and it didn't stop. You know, the water came in and just keep coming. It was, and it looked like you were almost on shore, but you weren't really on shore.
It's deceptive.
It was a fantastic thing. Do you have any questions?
Congratulations on being honored here.
Let's keep the questions for them just for this, and then we can ask a couple later. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So thank you for doing this.
Good, sure.
What do you hope young Americans in our country take away from this incredible young man's
That's a
story?
great question. I mean, look, they're going to look up to Ryder. They're going to look up to Nathaniel, the way Nathaniel handled it. He was cool considering the problems I was watching. You were very cool, and they're going to gain respect. I think, very importantly, they're going to gain respect for what these people do, having to do with lifeguards and having to do with safety. This was an unbelievable experience. Anybody watching, it's not my world, but I respect that world. I always had, but never maybe so much as I do now. So I thought you bring, to your profession, to what you do and what you do so well, you brought tremendous grace and experience, really tremendous grace, tremendous a feeling that it's so amazing to see this happen, to see it before your eyes. And I don't think any other, I've seen surfs, I've seen rescues before. I've never seen anything quite like this. It's been a great thing for your profession, and people are going to respect it even more, respect you even more. So I just thought it was really a very worthwhile event to have it at the Oval Office. So congratulations.
I actually have a question. If you don't mind, can I have a question for the young gentleman?
Go ahead, sure.
So first of all, a lot of people are very inspired by what you did. Can you tell us what was going through your mind at those dangerous moments, and what would you like to do in the future? How has this experience as a lifeguard shaped you?
In those dangerous moments that we have, we always try to fall back on our training. We are trained so well by many to handle that situation as best we can. So I really am just thinking about how to get the boy out of the water as fast as I can. And for shaping my future, I want to be a firefighter in the future, hopefully go through paramedic school and
He's off to a good start. We'll give him recommendations. We may have some good recommendations. Go ahead.
That's all I had.
Good.
Can I, sorry. First of all, thank you. You are an inspiration for all of us, I think, and especially you give us hope for your generation. And along those lines, do you have a message for your generation about service and what you're doing?
I hope that everybody can take away from this and try to help more people. Try to look out for everybody around you, and just try to help everybody out as much as you can.
What's the average age of a lifeguard in your area?
I'd say a lot of this last year, a lot of them were 16 to 17 years old.
And you have some that make it a profession, right?
Yes, sir.
A lot. So do you have 35, 40, 45-year-old?
Yes,
That's
sir.
great. And they lead a beautiful life on the surf, right?
Yes, sir.
And they would rather do nothing else, right? That's very good. I think it's great.
Mr. President, on a different topic.
Well,
Yesterday,
wait, let's finish on this topic. This is very exciting to me. Now, you know, it's so exciting to see something like this happen. He's a real hero. You know, when you see that, I don't know if I'd do it. I wouldn't probably. You're lucky I wasn't. You're lucky I wasn't on service that day. I don't know. But no, he's a real hero. It's an amazing thing. And he's a real lucky guy, too. God was watching you, right?
Yeah.
Great. Go ahead, please.
Mr. President, I do have a question about Iran, but I would like to ask you something about the rescue as well. Following this, there's been a push in Congress to officially affirm that open water lifeguards should be recognized as first responders. That would apparently really open up access to benefits, more federal programs. Would you support that?
Well, I think they have gone a long way to get that done. You know, it's something most people don't talk about. We have a lot of other things we talk about. And first time I've ever heard the question, but this is something that's been going on, I guess. Is that right? I'd like to put my weight behind it. So let's take a look at it. Very important. Yeah, I like the idea. Why do you ask that question? I mean, is this something that's been discussed very
Members
much?
of Congress have been talking about it in the wake of this.
Well, I think in the wake of what happened here, there's a possibility something like that would happen.
And Mr. President, your memorandum of understanding with Iran expires today. Are you any closer to reaching a final deal on ending Iran's nuclear program today than you were 60 days ago?
Let's finish up with Ryder, and then when we're done, we'll answer a couple of those questions. Yeah?
Thank you, Mr. President, again. So for the young men and for those who train them here, so as a parent, I'm very concerned when I see moments like those. What's your message to parents across the country who want to really improve their children's safety, especially when they're younger like this?
Well, I think you have to be going to the right beach, number one, and I think you have to have lifeguards around, right? Because you could go to that water. It looked so beautiful the day. It was such a beautiful day, everything nice. The water didn't look that bad, and then all of a sudden you see these violent waves come in. That's what amazed me so much. I studied it. I said, this is incredible. I've never seen that kind of roughness in water. I've seen tragic things happen, but I've never seen water that looks so calm, and then every 15 seconds, the violence comes back in. I think really you probably have areas, I'll bet you have areas that you think should have, as you call them, guards, that don't have. Can you imagine having more guards along the coast, parts of the coast, that aren't guarded where people die?
Yes, certainly. The National Water Safety Action Plan and the California State Action Plan both call for more supervision. And by supervision,
do we lose a lot of people due to lack of, covering an area?
It can be challenging in some of those spots because of the economy to live there. It's
Right.
expensive. It's a coastal beach community, and there's $1 million homes on the beach, and our lifeguards are making a little more than minimum wage, but it can be challenging to live in those spaces, so it's hard to retain employees in those areas.
As the lifeguards grow older and they want to make that a profession, which is a noble profession.
Again, we've been listening
they
in
make-
live right now, hearing from President Trump in the Oval Office, again, as he is really honoring the heroic teenager who risked his own life to save a 10-year-old boy. Ryder Williams, his family, as well as the 10-year-old boy and his family, they're all currently here at the Oval Office talking about, again, this event where the waves were treacherous, and Ryder didn't even hesitate to go into Seabright State Beach in Santa Cruz. to go and rescue that 10-year-old boy. So again, they've been kind of talking about moving forward, maybe some potential safety measures they could take to prevent any sort of drowning like this from the future. But again, thanks to riders' actions, that little boy is just fine, even in the Oval Office in attendance for this meeting as well. We're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be back with more news after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 12:55 on your Monday afternoon. Coming up in about 5 minutes, we're going to actually talk with the DNR about a deer situation we're seeing right now in Washington County. But before that, I want to get us back out to the Oval Office where we continue to hear from President Trump. And again, that's the 10-year-old boy on the kind of our right side view of President Trump, who the 16-year-old who is on President Trump's left side from this angle saved. So again, Ryder Williams being honored right now. That's who's sitting right next to President Trump in the chair, a 16-year-old boy who risked his own life to go into some treacherous waters to save that 10-year-old boy a little bit ago in Santa Clara, California. We'll go ahead and listen back in right now. Media is asking questions that they are answering.
On Oman this morning you said you would bomb the S out of Oman if they got in the way of reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Would you say you're out of patience with Oman, a strategic partner?
No, I don't think they behaved very well, but we'd handle them very easily, just like we do other things.
Mr. President, I have actually two questions. There was a report by Center Square that nearly 24 Democratic attorney generals, months before your reelection, were basically planning already lawsuits against you, and wanted to see what your comment is on that. Second question.
Well, I heard about that. I'm not surprised because they've weaponized this country like never before. The Democrats, or the Democrats as they call them, they've weaponized the country like nobody's ever seen anything like it. When you see the reports that are coming out now, that you would have never seen if I had not won the election in a landslide, but you would have never seen it if I didn't win the election. But the reports that you see coming out now and the kind of illegal activity that they used on the 2020 election and beyond is earth-shattering. These are very dishonest people, so I wouldn't be surprised to hear that.
Sorry, but this is on D.C. You have mentioned before, if the Democrats get in again, that they may eliminate the filibuster next time and make D.C. a state. A while back, Senator Mike Lee had floated an idea.
It wouldn't be a state. It wouldn't be. I mean, if we're talking about us, we have, as you know, a very radically left person elected mayor, who I haven't met. I'm sure she's very nice, but very, very, very radical left. and we would have to federalize D.C. You know, we've made D.C. great. When I got here, it was a very dangerous capital. I would have said to Ryder, don't come, it's too dangerous. Now I can say you can walk down the street, you can grab Nathaniel and all your friends, you can walk in, you're going to be very safe. But if you were here a year and a half ago, the numbers were horrible. The crime stats, the murders, the death, the drug dealing, everything was. We have one of the safest. We've taken it from one of the most unsafe cities in the country to as safe a city as there is. Amazing what's happened to Washington, and it's our capital. We have to have a safe capital, and we did it through a lot of different reasons. But we also put the National Guard here. But in addition to that, the cleanliness, the new grass, the graffiti's all gone. We fixed up 82 monuments, fountains, and other things. The places, and when you see it in 6 months from now, it's going to be even beyond that. We're proud of our capital. I think these things are important. Whether you build, whether you do something to fix the White House, where, you know, now they've never had a real estate developer, a good one, a real good one, here before. They might not ever have one again. But, you know, fixing up our great capital is a very important thing. I think it's very important psychologically. It's very important from the standpoint of people being able to come to the country and not get murdered in the capital. People would come here. We had one of the worst, one of the most unsafe cities in the country. Now we have one of the safest. Just to finish, we had a real problem with restaurants. Nobody wanted to have restaurants, restaurant entrepreneurs. Now you can't get space. Every restaurant is packed. The place is booming. People aren't going to get mugged and raped and beat to hell and shot and killed in Washington, D.C. One of the safest places. Crime is down 84%, and I did that in a short period of time. It's also down in Memphis, where we went specifically, and it's also down in New Orleans. I was asked by the governor, could I do something, because they were having Mardi Gras. It was very bad, and they had the best Mardi Gras they've ever had, the safest Mardi Gras that they've ever had. And we could do it in New York, we could do it in California, we could do it in Chicago if we were asked to do it. But the crime stats in the whole country, we have down 15, 16, 70%, a record.
Again, President Trump right now taking questions from the media in the Oval Office after kind of having a conversation here with 16-year-old Ryder Williams, as well as the 10-year-old boy who Ryder saved in a kind of lifeguard moment where the 16-year-old was so brave and went straight into the waters to rescue that 10-year-old boy, Nathaniel, risking his own life as the water in Santa Cruz was quite choppy and dangerous. So again, them all together right now in the Oval Office, their families as well, as President Trump really just kind of touted and praised the bravery of that 16-year-old boy. So they've moved on since to kind of some off-topic questions, so we will also move on here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to check in with the DNR again about kind of a deer mortality situation that they're dealing with right now out of Washington County. Stick with us. We'll be back with more news right after this.
The Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 1:03 on your Monday afternoon. Want to take a quick live look here at AmFam. Of course, the Brewers have another Brew Crew Tuesday here at Fox 6 coming up tomorrow. We'll get you some more details in just a little bit as they get ready to face the Seattle Mariners. Right now, the roof is open because it's a pretty gorgeous Monday. Again, the humidity finally taking a little bit of a break. We've had some very hot and humid days, as Stephanie Barrichello kind of broke it down for us in the forecast. For the most part, should be pretty dry today. We are anticipating some rain tomorrow, and that's why we are so grateful to have a roof at AmFam. While it might impact tailgating, it will not impact the game. But again, I'll get you some of those Brew Crew Tuesday details in just a little bit right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. In the meantime, I actually want to go ahead and bring in Aaron Larson, who's joining us with the DNR. Because, Aaron, we've been learning kind of about a deer mortality event that you guys are focusing on right now in Washington County. Kind of explain to us what is happening that's causing, quite a significant number of deaths in deer here.
Sure. So we had started getting reports around the end of July of deer mortalities. We are currently still summarizing how many of those reports will end up, what the total number of deer will be. Estimated right now, but maybe between 80 to 100 deer. We do have confirmed that from a test in the Richfield area in southern Washington that we had an EHD, or epizootic hemorrhagic disease detection. We also have a test pending in the West Bend area. So at this point, it does look to be an EHD outbreak in southern Washington, but still getting reports in and continue to ask folks to send those in to us as well so we get a good idea of what the numbers of deer are.
Can you explain what exactly EHD is as you're seeing this outbreak potentially happening right now in Washington County?
Yeah, so EHD, or as I said, epizootic hemorrhagic disease, is caused by a virus. So it's a virus that is transmitted by midges or really small flies, sometimes called no-see-ums. It's not spread from deer to deer. It is only spread from these midges spreading it between the deer. It's not a risk to humans either, but unfortunately in Wisconsin, we have seen sporadic outbreaks throughout the years. And when it has occurred in Wisconsin, usually we do see that the deer that contract this virus will die pretty quickly from this disease, usually within a week. They don't have the antibodies built up that some deer herds in the southern U.S. or the western U.S. do. So we'll see these localized deer die-off situations.
I know you guys have seen outbreaks of EHD in the past kind of throughout Wisconsin here. Right now, preliminary numbers, as you were reporting, between 80 to 100. Is this a larger outbreak than normal? Is this pretty normal when you see something like this with EHD? Kind of where are we standing right now?
Right now, I would say a lot. In some of the other years, it was smaller, maybe estimated between 30 to 50 deer. So this would be on a little bit larger size. We'll see what we end up with at the end of this. It's a little earlier in the season than we've sometimes seen EHD outbreaks. The midges, they can't overwinter with this virus. So when we get a hard freeze, that'll pretty much stop it in its tracks. So being still into August, we have a ways until we get to a hard freeze. So we'll have to see what the numbers end up being.
I was going to say, is that kind of the main way to contain an outbreak like this, or is there anything else you guys can do?
Unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do as citizens or landowners in an area, with being spread by these midges. Even just removing water sources isn't going to help. There's enough other water sources that they'll still be able to spread it if they're carriers of this virus. So unfortunately, there isn't much we can do, but we do, also ask those folks that are seeing these deer to continue to report these situations to us. We catalog every single report that we get so that we do have a good idea of what the numbers are being seen out there.
Yeah, what kind of information do you need for someone if they come across, unfortunately, a dead deer or they want to report it to you? What's kind of included in that report that we need to be cognizant of?
Yeah, so we have a webpage on our website that makes it pretty easy. If you Google Wisconsin DNR and dead deer or sick deer, you'll come to a page where you can use our wildlife hotline, and you can either send us an email or give us a call. We would be looking for the location, the number of deer that were found dead or seen sick. With EHD, usually there's not a lot of signs seen because they do die pretty quickly from this disease. So often what we'll be seeing is there'll be a healthy looking deer found dead, often by water. With this virus, they do run higher fever, so they may be looking out for water to cool themselves or to just drink. So that's usually what we see is healthy looking dead deer found by water. So just locations and numbers is what we're looking at.
Yeah, I know you mentioned there's still a couple other tests right now out that you guys are waiting on results. Any sort of a timeline for those?
We should be hearing about the submission from the West Bend area this week, be able to get that. And then I also mentioned that these reports are very valuable to us, but we're not able to test every deer, nor do we need to. So what we'll be doing is testing if we're able to get a sample from a deer in a newer area. So if it's within 20-25 miles of where we have confirmed the disease, we'll just be cataloging those reports. We don't need to submit additional deer for testing.
Yeah. Anything else you wanted us to know just about EHD in Wisconsin deer?
Yeah, I mean, it can be very rattling to see, high numbers of dead deer in a small area. But luckily in Wisconsin and, other states that have had these situations, the deer herds are pretty robust. They're usually able to bounce back from this. So it really should not cause long-term impacts to our deer herd.
I mean, that's definitely some good news to hear, as we obviously, the number when you hear 80 to 100 is startling. It is sad, but to know that hopefully there's no long-term impacts from this outbreak is definitely good news there. Erin, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to join us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Again, that is the latest there from the Wisconsin DNR as they continue to investigate a pretty large number of deaths in deer here in Washington County. Again, it's looking like it's an outbreak of EHD, so we appreciate Erin joining us, kind of giving us some of those details right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more news right after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 1:12 on your Monday afternoon. Have a little bit of a traffic kind of update for you. A crash that we have been covering for hours now, pretty much all of Wake Up. This is right now in Slinger. It's I-41 North, where you can see all lanes look to continue to be blocked from a crash that happened just before 7 a.m. We can still see lots of flashing lights here on scene. At one point, it looked like we were dealing with some southbound lanes being closed. Those look to have been opened here. But again, still dealing with some closures in Slinger for this crash that occurred again, before 7 a.m. So it's certainly taking a decent amount of time to kind of clear here as we take a live look from our WIS.com camera. But we'll keep our eye on this, and if we have any updates as far as lanes opening up, the freeway opening back up, we will pass them along to you right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. In the meantime, want to take another live look here at AmFam. I was talking about Brew Crew Tuesday. Wanted to get you the details that you need to know ahead of tomorrow. So the Brewers are taking on the Seattle Mariners. The game is going to start at 6:30. So that's when you can tune in if you want to watch the first pitch. I know sometimes you think I have to have a certain subscription in order to watch my local professional baseball team. Not the case tomorrow. You can just tune in to right here on Fox 6 to watch the Brewers. We have a perfect record when it comes to the Brewers on Brew Crew Tuesday, so we're hoping to add to that again tomorrow. But I always tell people, if you're only tuning in at 6:30, you're missing out on a lot of great coverage. You really want to tune in closer to 4 in our afternoon newscast. We start a Brewers takeover. We send usually 4 of our crew members down to AmFam. They are live reporting there. We'll get you a live weather forecast. Our anchors are down there. Our reporters are down there. Sometimes we're running around tailgates, so it's a really fun time. If you're not able to make it to the ballpark, to just tune in around 4 p.m. And watch some of our Brew Crew Tuesday coverage. And, of course, we could still use your help as well as we are collecting questions right now for our very next edition of a 6-pack of questions. So tomorrow, Ted Perry is going to get the chance to chat with Brewers pitcher Robert Gasser. It is not too late to submit your questions. He usually finalizes them in the morning tomorrow before he heads to AmFam. So you can go ahead and scan that QR code right there on your screen to submit your question. I always say you can really do whatever you want when it comes to these questions. Some people certainly ask, sportsy questions, maybe pitching questions here, what it's like to, throw in the majors. Other people go for some of the most wild, creative, who would you like to go on a road trip with? Who would you give the aux cord to? So Ted really tries his best to pick some of the more creative questions. He gets good variety. If he's able to combine multiple questions into one, he'll do that so that we can kind of stretch 6 and get more questions asked and answered by the different players. But again, tomorrow, it is going to be Brewers pitcher Robert Gasser. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and submit those right now. Otherwise, speaking of the Brewers, a pretty cool assignment here for Lily Zhao. She's going to begin reporting Saturday from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Of course, that is the home of the Little League World Series, but this year they're having extra fun with it by bringing the major leagues to Little League. So the Atlanta Braves are taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Lily's going to be there. She'll have you covered with some of those behind-the-scenes moments. I love the pairing of these two teams, though. I know it was just a couple weeks ago here on the Live Desk, we watched the unveiling of the new Hank Aaron mural, and we got to hear, actually, from Hank Aaron's widow, who is still very much touting his legacy. Well, he really has quite the legacy with both of these teams, and so it's kind of cool to get to see them come together. They're going to be playing each other. They're both hoping to walk away victorious, but it is cool to see kind of Hank Aaron's two teams meeting here in Pennsylvania for that MLB Little League Classic. Should be a good game, and of course, we're also excited for tomorrow's game. Again, roof open right now, as it is a gorgeous Monday in Milwaukee. The humidity, thankfully, has taken a nice break for now, just as the Brewers are taking a nice break today. No game on the schedule, but that's because they're coming back to town starting tomorrow, taking on the Seattle Mariners. After that, obviously, as I mentioned, we've got some games against the Braves. So it should be a good couple of games here. And if we continue our trend of being perfect with the wins on Brew Crew Tuesday, I know a lot of people will be very happy if the Brewers continue to kind of dominate the National League Central. They have been in first place for months now. They are not going anywhere. Up 5 games on Chicago, who's pretty much sat in a steady second for most of the season behind the Brewers. Still got 7 games, though, between the Brewers and the Cubs before the end of the season. So technically it's still anyone's division to grab, but the Brewers have certainly been very, very dominant this season as they continue to have the best record in baseball as well. I mean, not even close. They're up 3 games from the Dodgers and the Braves, so they are crushing it both on and off Brew Crew Tuesday, but certainly excited for the next edition tomorrow. Also super excited if you missed the announcement. I gotta mention it again. you guys, how often do I get to be here the day that the concert's announced? The Jonas Brothers, they're coming to Pfizer Forum. They're bringing the Burnin' It Up all over again tour to Pfizer Forum on November 1st. So this is really exciting. If you missed it, they're kind of totally recreating their 2008 World Tour. So what they did back in 2008 is going to be done in its entirety, but that's just Act 1. Then they're going to take a little intermission. They're going to come back out, and they're going to do some of their newer songs. Obviously, they continue to release albums after 2008, some very good albums, I might add. So it's going to be a really great time. I'll get a sneak preview for us all. I'm going to Madison Square Garden. I'm just doing some journalism research, really, Delaney and Adrian, when I go to this concert at MSG on Friday. And then I'll report back what we can expect here in Milwaukee in November. But yes, I will be there. I'm very excited. And tickets go on sale. General on sale Friday. If you really need your tickets earlier, reach out to me. I've got a couple ways to get them, and we can all go together, and it will be the best night ever. Very excited for that. We're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be back with more news right after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 1:21 on your Monday afternoon. Just got about 10 minutes left with you and want to get you out to a pretty crazy scene right now. This is a live look in Glenpool, Oklahoma, where, as you can see, authorities are currently responding to a liquid natural gas tank fire near Highway 75 and West 126th Street. Obviously, this camera is from far away, and the plumes of smoke that are going up, I mean, it's kind of a frightening scene here, certainly in Oklahoma. Police said the call came in regarding this explosion at the Explorer Pipeline facility around 8:30 this morning. That would be in Oklahoma, which I want to look up what time zone Oklahoma is. It might be our time zone, but I don't know. Oklahoma. It is Central Time, so 8:30 our time as well. See, these are the things you have to stick with me on the Wisconsin Live Desk for, as I sometimes look up information as we're going. But we're told 2 tanks have exploded and currently remain on fire, which we can see as we see 2 plumes of smoke going up into the air here. Crews are on scene working to mitigate the fire. It's obviously a very hard task to do when they're dealing with such a expansive fire here. But we did actually get a statement, this is our sister station reporting in Oklahoma, from Explorer Pipeline. They said earlier this morning, lightning struck a tank at the Explorer Pipeline Glenpool tank farm, resulting in a fire. The local fire department and emergency response teams have responded and secured the site. Additional fire response resources are en route. Glenpool police have closed 126th Street South between Casper Avenue and Elwood. We ask the public to please stay clear of this area as they continue to monitor it. Obviously, a dangerous situation here. Police do say no injuries or other fires have been reported at this time, which is huge when you're looking at such a big fire here. But all surrounding businesses and residences have been evacuated. We're told nearby schools also sheltering in place as a precaution. But again, I mean, startling image here, a live look out of Glenpool, Oklahoma, as we continue to look at this liquid natural gas tank fire that all started by a lightning strike. So again, we'll keep our eye on this scary situation. The best news, though, coming from police saying no one has been hurt in this. Look at it go up to the sky here. Some of these just, I mean, fireballs going up right now. Certainly a hard situation to even try to tackle when you're firefighting this. I mean, this is huge and dangerous, and certainly a smart choice there to evacuate nearby businesses and residences and shelter in place those schools. But certainly something you never want to see in your area. Again, this is in Glenpool, Oklahoma, but certainly a lot of authorities and emergency services now fighting hard for a couple of hours. Again, they first responded around 8:30 this morning, so we are on hour 5 now of trying to get this under control, and we'll keep our eye on it right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. In the meantime, I want to get us back out to Vegas as well. We were listening before to opening statements here in the Tupac Shakur murder case. Again, he was murdered back in 1996. And for a while, it was a cold case. Many people wondering if this would ever happen. And decades later, nearly 30 years later, the murder trial of Dwayne Davis is happening. That's the man accused of shooting and killing Tupac. So again, opening statements, I believe, have actually ended. They have called their first witness to the stand and are beginning kind of that testimony, which is anticipated to take weeks. Obviously, right now, looking at a map of the Strip there in Las Vegas. So we'll go ahead and listen in to this witness testimony in the Tupac murder case. Again, day 1 of this trial happening right now in Las Vegas.
And fair to say that those walk bridges in 1996, people were still walking on the streets, crossing like pedestrian crosswalks, right?
I'm trying to recall. I couldn't honestly recall. I remember them taking the crosswalks out and putting those walkways in.
Right.
I remember when they did that, but I don't remember the year they did it.
And once again, I'm not trying to, it's not a catch-a moment.
No, I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't want to say something that I can't be sure of, but I remember when I was down there working, they no longer allow traffic to cross on foot across the Strip because of all of the accidents that we had. So they put those walkways in when I was still working.
Right. Okay. Now, and just finally here, with regards to the when you're riding on the Strip and you're riding with your with the other person that's with you, you said at some point you were made aware that there was a shooting that had occurred, and the radio traffic indicated that the vehicle you had stopped was potentially the vehicle.
Again, we're going to keep listening in here to the witness testimony being presented in the Tupac Shakur murder case. Maddie Stout, though, standing by, so she's going to take over. She'll get you guys all the way to 2:30. Then Ben Handelman will come back here as well as we get you news all the way until 4 p.m. But we'll leave this testimony up right now while Maddie kind of handles the transition, and she'll get you, as I mentioned, all the way to 2:30. Thanks for joining me on the live desk today.
Thank you. Sure. I couldn't really tell you where we were because my memory serves me, it was called out right around the same time as we were rolling up on that vehicle.
Okay.
There was shots fired call and vehicles involved, and then we rolled up and saw that vehicle in the middle of Harmon
And
on the boulevard.
Okay. And when you rolled up and you saw the vehicle, can you tell us other vehicles that were behind that vehicle? Were there any other, like vehicles in an entourage behind the black vehicle?
There were several vehicles stopped all over the Strip. It was cluttered with cars, so I couldn't tell you if they were with them or not.
Sure. Did other police officers aid in terms of just securing the scene and making sure that anything of evidentiary value was going to be kept in that area?
Yes.
Because I would imagine it wasn't just you by yourself.
Right.
Your partner, other officers arriving on scene would have started to help as a team.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect examination, Mr. DeGiacomo?
No, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you have any questions for this witness? If you do, please raise your hand and I'll walk you through the process. Seeing no hands, thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Dale. You are excused.
Thank you.
State may call their next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Ingrid Stokes. Yes.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You may be seated. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Ingrid Stokes, INGRIDSTOKES.
Thank you, ma'am. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Paul, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Stokes.
Good morning.
Back in 1996, did you have a different last name?
It was Johnson.
Okay, so you went by Ingrid Johnson back then? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Did you come to Las Vegas on the weekend of September 7th, 1996?
Yes.
Who'd you come with?
My best friend and some girlfriends.
Okay, can you tell me who they were?
Shalane, Tanisha, and Lauren.
And why'd you come to Las Vegas that weekend?
Well, when you live in LA, you go to Vegas all the time. It's just a party city. So we decided to go for the weekend. We were all off work. And so we went to come hang out, have fun.
And were you aware, and well, first let me take a step back. So you guys were living in LA at the time?
Yes.
What part of LA?
I may have been living at my dad's, which is Carson.
Okay. And then and you came out for the purposes to party. Were you aware that there was a Mike Tyson fight that weekend?
Yes, that's one of the reasons. There was always a Mike Tyson fight. But we were coming because my friend knew one of the managers or coaches, I forget what they're called, and we had planned on going to the fight.
Did you end up going to the fight?
No.
What happened?
4 women in a bathroom did not work. We took too long. We missed the fight completely.
And so, where were you staying that night?
I believe we were at the Lexor, or the Rio, but I think it was the Lexor.
Okay. And then, did you ever actually make it to the MGM where the fight was?
We made it to the let out, is what I call it, because the fight was already over, so everyone was kind of hanging out. So we went to see what was going on for the night.
And did you hang out there for a while?
I don't remember, but it would have been enough time to run into a few friends and say hello and hang out, and maybe drink or two, maybe.
So, what did you do after hanging out at the MGM Grand?
Well, we had met one of my friends, and they had mentioned there was somewhere they were going to go. So we decided, okay, we'll go there first and see what's happening before we decide, where we're going to end the night. So we all got back in our car, the rented car we took from LA, and drove.
Hey everybody, Maddie
did you
Stelk
recall
just getting logged in here as we're taking a live look in Vegas right now as day one of the Tupac murder trial is underway. We are going to switch gears here and take a quick break, talk about a new report ranking Wisconsin among one of the top best states for livability. We're going to tell you exactly where we fall on that list and get some more insight as to why when we come back. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
It is 1:30 on your Monday afternoon. Thanks for being with us here on Fox Local. I'll be with you for the next hour. Then Ben Handelman's going to be taking over. Wisconsin, though, getting some street cred from a new report. Take a look right here. We are ranking, let me see if I can get it up here. There we go. Here it is. We are ranked among the top 5 states to live in. That's according to financial company Wallet Hub. It ranked all 50 states using 51 measures of livability. And we're right there at number 3. Not only the top 10, the top 3. The Badger State is super exciting for us. I mean, I have to agree myself as a Wisconsinite. Of course, I'm a little biased. I want to bring in Chip Lupo with Wallet Hub right now, though. Chip, thanks so much for being with us today.
Oh, hello, Maddie. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. So I want to ask first, what state are you joining us from?
I am working remotely from my studio in Columbia, South Carolina.
All right. Let me pull up the map right here. Where does South Carolina? 38. Okay.
38.
All right.
I will say, Maddie, that my cousin's daughter and her husband live in Madison, Wisconsin, and they absolutely love it.
All right. Yeah, that's what's going to be my next question was, have you ever been to Wisconsin?
We went to their wedding, in fact, almost 2 years ago to the date. I'll take Wisconsin in August over the heat and humidity in Columbia, South Carolina any day.
Oh, I believe that. One of our meteorologists is from the South too, and she's like, oh my gosh, the heat is crazy right now in August. But diving a little bit into Wisconsin and this study, kind of walk us through how it was done and how Wisconsin ended up so high on the list.
Well, Maddie, there is no one perfect state in the country. When it comes to livability, I mean, no one state dominates in every category, so you kind of have to prioritize what exactly you're looking for. So what we did is that we broke it down into 5 key dimensions for all 50 states, and those are affordability, economy, education and health, quality of life, and safety. And as you had mentioned at the top, there are 51 metrics with that, and those range everything from housing costs, income growth, education, quality of hospitals, and on. And Wisconsin, number 3, sandwiched right between New Jersey and Massachusetts. And Minnesota, your neighboring state, was at 8th, but for the most part, it's largely New England and some of the mountain states, but upper Midwest is repping well there in the top 10.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was going to say too, yeah, we've got several Midwest representations high up there. When you're talking about those measures, can you talk specifically about where Wisconsin on the scorecard did the best?
Right now, as I mentioned a second ago, no one state is perfect. No one state dominates in all 5 categories. And where Wisconsin does particularly well is in both economy, where it ranks 10th, and in education and health, where it ranks also 10th. Now, as far as the economy goes, Wisconsin enjoys a pretty low unemployment rate, hovering right about the national average, about 3.2%, and also a low underemployment rate. This can't be emphasized enough because underemployment measures folks who are working in several grades below their qualifications. Wisconsin also enjoys a very low foreclosure rate, so people who own their homes can do so, and knowing that they're able to afford, keeping up the mortgage without worrying about their house being foreclosed on. Health and education, Wisconsin is 6th in the quality of the public school system, has the highest high school graduation rate in the country at just above 96%. A high share of its population that's insured, which is key. That's a key to good health, almost 95%. The 15th lowest premature death rate in the country, also key. And then Wisconsin residents, about 94%, age 25 or older, have at least a high school diploma or better.
Yeah, no, looking at the stats, I was like, okay, Wisconsin, I see you. I want to pull up the rankings one more time because number 3 is good, but we, of course, aren't number 1. Can you talk a little bit about where we fell short on that scorecard?
Where nearly all of the top states, with the exception of Idaho, was in terms of affordability. Now, New Jersey at number 2 was 49th in affordability. Wisconsin was 30th overall. And that kind of kind of surprised me a little bit. But when you dig into the numbers, you find that Wisconsin is actually ninth in housing affordability. However, that's offset by the ninth highest median annual property taxes. So that's kind of a wash. Their houses are affordable, but people can't afford the property taxes. So it kind of cancels each other out there. And also a little below average in home ownership rate. Home ownership rate is key in a lot of areas, because particularly in safety, because when you're in a neighborhood where the majority of the homes are owned as opposed to renting, generally that speaks to somewhat of a lower property crime rate. So Wisconsin's got a little bit of work there. Middle of the pack in terms of median annual income too, at about $77,000, so slightly below the national average. So perhaps maybe getting those incomes up, getting housing a little bit more affordable, and there's no reason why Wisconsin can't perhaps challenge those two states ahead of it.
Yeah, and something to work on for sure. Always room for improvement. Is this an annual thing that you guys do, this report?
It is annual. Wisconsin's consistently been within the top 5, as best I can remember, with Idaho and some of these other mountain states. A lot of boom states. A lot of people are moving to Idaho. They're fleeing some of these high tax states. And I think you're seeing the same thing in Wisconsin. I think with states like Illinois that are ridiculously high taxes, people are starting to make moves into Wisconsin from some of those high tax states as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting too. Is there anything that surprised you about the top states this year, or maybe some people that jumped in, or not people, states rather, that jumped into the top 10 that might not have been in previous years?
The one thing that surprised me the most is New Jersey at number 2. And yes, it's it gets dinged for basically being unaffordable, but it ranks very high in terms of safety. And in fact, it has is one of the safest states because it has a high percentage of a high number of law enforcement personnel per capita. And there's plenty to do in New Jersey, lots of bars and restaurants to go to. But yeah, I was surprised. You know that New Jersey and the Northeast are unaffordable, but they do make up for it in other areas such as education and quality of life.
Yeah, it's good because it's like, even if you're bad in some areas, there's still some good to it as well. But definitely hoping Wisconsin can maybe get bumped up next year to the 2nd or 1st spot. So we'll have to...
And people need to take that into account too. If you're deciding where to live, you have to decide what your priority is. If you're looking for affordability, you may have to give up to, okay, well, maybe there won't be as much to do in this state. So it's kind of a juggling act, which is why we break it down into specific categories. So you can more or less go with what's your highest priority is when choosing a state to live.
Yeah, absolutely. Because for some people, it could be public schooling. For others, it could be that affordability aspect. So yeah, it's interesting when you really look at the numbers. And for anyone interested as well, we do have an article on our website breaking it down more. But yes, hoping Wisconsin can crack maybe the 2nd or 1st spot for next year. Chip, thanks so much for joining us here on the Live Desk.
My pleasure, Maddie. Thank you so much.
Great. So we're going to take a quick break here on Live Desk. Again, if you are interested in learning more about that report that was done, you can go to our website, fox6now.com. We have a whole article breaking it down, but Midwest representation there, not just Wisconsin, but also Minnesota as well in the top 10. Guys, I think we can make it to number 2 or 1 next year. So fingers crossed. We'll have to see. All right, going to take that quick break. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thanks for being with us here on Fox Local. Let's give you a live look outside right now. Sitting nice at 76 degrees. Lakefront looking gorgeous right now. I went on several walks this weekend, guys, on the lakefront, and I loved it, but also I was so sweaty, Steph. When I got back, I came home yesterday and my face was beet red. Yeah. I feel like I needed to get the toxins out after going out Saturday night. So honestly, it's good, but is the humidity going to stay, or are we kind of cooling down this week?
It's a bit back and forth, we'll say, but nothing compared to this weekend. Dew points right now are much lower. In fact, some communities have dew points in the 50s right now, which is amazing. They'll creep up a little bit Tuesday. We always correlate those higher dew points most of the time with storm systems and when we have chances for rain. So Tuesday brings in a chance for storms. Dew points going to be up a little bit, and then late in the week, Friday, maybe Saturday, some slightly higher humidity as well. But again, nothing looks to be as bad as what we experienced over the weekend. Both Saturday and Sunday, dew points were in the low and even mid 70s at times, which I know is not a shock to anybody who is out and about. We've got beautiful sunshine out there right now. Look at this view of the lake too. This is from Carthage College in Kenosha. It almost looks like the ocean there. Absolutely gorgeous. The rest of us still have a few clouds though, so more of that partly sunny sky. Bottom line, it is a quiet start to the work week, and I think we can all appreciate it. Temperatures in the middle and upper 70s. A lot of spots will settle in the low 80s as the afternoon goes on. Again, dew points looking really good. Most areas in the 50s, just a little higher along the southern lakeshore, and there's a little plume of some moisture out towards the west too. Nothing major though, again, compared to those 70s. This really is the biggest change today from the weekend, is that significant drop in humidity and dew points in a lot of spots. This is just over the last 24 hours. I mean, these numbers indicating for places like West Bend that the dew point right now is 11 degrees cooler or lower compared to this time yesterday. That's a pretty significant drop, and it is welcome. We have had such a hot and humid summer, so I know we're many Wisconsinites ready for a break. No rain out there right now, just a few clouds from time to time, so partly sunny conditions set to return or set to continue throughout the rest of today. Now, we are watching a series of fronts out towards the west. High pressure for now, going to keep us dry and sunny. We're going to watch this cold front because that is going to eventually bring in a chance for some showers and thunderstorms later on tomorrow afternoon and evening. The rest of today looking just fine, and even tonight, very pleasant conditions to be out and about. Tuesday morning, most of us will stay dry. There is just the slight chance as that warm front rolls in that we see a stray shower or thunderstorm, but the better chance really is the second half of Tuesday, and even that is not a great chance here locally. Most of what we see tomorrow afternoon will be very scattered or even isolated in nature. Notice how we get into those mid to late afternoon into early evening hours, and we start to see a bit of development. This is actually a newer model run. This is our in-house model. You can see how it really fills in more so later on in the evening. I do think the start time just a little bit uncertain. This latest run holds it off until after about 5 p.m. It's very possible we start to see some scattered storms during those middle and late afternoon hours, but they will be on and off here through the night until that cold front passes. Wednesday will be dry, lower humidity, and sunshine will eventually return as well. So it's really just a one-day chance for storms until we get to Friday. Then that will bring in another slight chance. Now, worth noting that tomorrow we are under a marginal risk for severe weather. So that's that lowest threat, that level 1. I am not terribly concerned with severe weather here locally. We could potentially have some gustier wind and a handful of thunderstorms and then some pockets of heavy rainfall. But it's just going to be a day where we pay attention to those storms as they develop. Make sure you have a way to receive alerts if something were to be put into place. And if you have anything outdoors, just pay attention to radar. Check that Storm Center app from time to time. Notice how there's actually a slight risk down towards the southwest, so there is a greater chance for severe weather, more so outside of our viewing area. It's a great day today. We're going to see very comfortable conditions throughout the remainder of this Monday. Temperatures by evening fall nicely through the 70s and will drop to 60s overnight tonight. In the longer range here, we do see temperatures climbing a bit more tomorrow, along with some of that slightly higher humidity. Behind that next cold front, we drop to essentially average temperatures, which are in the upper 70s now Wednesday, Thursday, maybe a little bit more of a spike Friday, Saturday, but that also, both of those days comes with rain. And I know this is still a ways out. Models differ a little bit. Some longer range models have more of the rain Friday. Other longer range model more so has it on Saturday. So going to keep a chance in for both of those days, but I do think it'll end up being kind of a one or the other type of situation. So I know that's either the end of the work week or the start to the weekend. So not the greatest timing there, but we'll watch that as we get a little bit closer. In the meantime, we'll focus in on tomorrow afternoon. Dew points again climb a bit for Tuesday, but 60s, I mean, we're essentially there right now. That's pretty manageable. Wednesday will start high, but because of that second cold front, dew points will then drop throughout the rest of the day. Thursday, not too bad. And then Friday and Saturday, dew points will start to climb again because of that next storm system. But even looking ahead, Sunday looks dry. So we'll really just watch that chance for Friday, I think, or Saturday. Probably not going to be both days. Now, I know when it comes to tomorrow's storm chance, tomorrow is a Brew Crew Tuesday. Rain chance is obviously not going to impact the game, but I know we will have a crew down there. It will not be me this time, sadly. Meteorologist Holly Baker will be out there among, I believe, Kim Murphy and our Ben Hansen. So something to watch tomorrow. The game is live here on Fox 6 as well, but watch those storm chances, of course, for anybody who plans on tailgating for the game tomorrow. Maddie.
Oh, yes. Fingers crossed. We don't want anything to affect our Brew Crew Tuesday. I'm trying to get a live pick right now of AmFam. Roof is open right now.
Good.
So hoping for the same vibes heading into tomorrow's stuff. Of course, we'll be holding down the fort here, us two. They knew that if we were out there again, it might get a little too competitive against stuff.
It would have gotten rowdy. Would have been great television, though.
Great television. I think they need to save it for another game. We need
I agree.
For sure. Oh my gosh, Steph, thanks so much for joining us here on the live desk. But yeah, live look at American Family Field. Steph took the words right out of my mouth. Brew Crew Tuesday coming up tomorrow. We are so excited. Take a look right here. 6:30 game is right here on Fox 6. Tune in at 5:30 for a special edition of Tailgate Live. Will be super fun. We're very excited for that. Also, 6-pack of questions, the best series ever here. It's Ted Perry's favorite part of Brew Crew Tuesday. So this week it's for Brewers pitcher Robert Gasser. You can scan that QR code on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Submit your questions. Again, think outside the box here. Ted is still looking for some high contenders. He does have some good ones right now, but is still on the hunt for those questions. So submit it right here for a chance to get them answered by Brewers pitcher Robert Gasser. I know it's something that I love about Brew Crew Tuesday and such an exciting thing that the players love to participate in as well. We are going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be right back in 2 minutes, though. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Approaching the bottom of the hour here, actually rather the top of the 2 o'clock hour on Fox Local. We're going to check in with our reporter Ben Hansen in just a little bit, but for now we're going to take you back out to Las Vegas where day one of the Tupac murder trial is underway. Let's listen in.
Are we prepared to take a lunch break at this time?
Lunch break, too.
Okay, sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our lunch break at this time. During the recess, you are admonished.
Looks like they will be taking a quick lunch break here, but here's what we have learned so far. So a prosecutor said today that while few have been willing to speak about the 1996 killing of Tupac Shakur, Dwayne Davis is the, quote, one person who has a hard time being silent. The chief deputy district attorney saying, quote, let's be clear, Dwayne Davis did not pull the trigger, but he did plan the shooting in retaliation of the beating of his nephew. Goes on to say, quote, remarkably, you will learn that Dwayne Davis himself. You'll learn that from Dwayne Davis himself. So Davis, he's 63 years old. He's charged with murder with a deadly weapon with the intent to promote, further, or assist a criminal gang in Shakur's death. He pleaded not guilty. His lawyer in the defense opening called the prosecution's narrative, quote, fiction. If convicted, Davis faces life in prison. Now, jurors were shown video of Shakur's entourage attacking Davis's nephew Orlando, quote, called Baby Lane Anderson, outside the boxing match at the MGM Grand hours before the shooting on September 7th. So Davis spent the next 2 hours planning to how to get even, and Shakur was, quote, gunned down in an act of revenge. So in a 2008 interview with a federal task force investigating the killing of Shakur's rival, the notorious B.I.G., Davis instead talked about the Shakur shooting, describing handing a gun to the men in the back seat of a white Cadillac that fired on Shakur and Suge Knight, the hip-hop mogul who was driving a black BMW with Shakur sitting next to him. As prosecutors played audio of Davis explaining the moment Shakur was shot, members of his family, including his stepbrother Maurice, sat quietly in the audience staring ahead. Now, Palal told jurors Davis held on to a visceral hatred for Shakur for decades that drove him to speak. He said as early as 1998, the defendant talked to the FBI and admitted he had been in Las Vegas the night of the shooting, spoke again in 1999 to the FBI, and said again he was in Las Vegas, but that denied responsibility. Now, fast forward 2009, 30 years later now, we're going to ask you to finally hold Dwayne Davis accountable. That was a quote from Palal there. He also showed jurors the 2019 memoir that Davis co-wrote called Compton Street Legend that the prosecution will use and that the defense fought to keep out of the trial along with several of the defendant's interviews. So right now, again, this is a live look right now in Las Vegas where it's day one. Got a lot of information right now from this case so far. We're going to continue following it. They did just take a lunch break, but when it's back, we will continue to bring you bits and pieces of the trial. You can also go to our network affiliate Live Now, who will be streaming this pretty much in full, as well as a secondary stream that we've got as well. So much to come on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We're going to be checking in with our reporter Ben Hansen in just a little bit right now about a stabbing a man from Pleasant Prairie was arrested in Nebraska for. So we will bring that to you right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk when we come back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
New charges have just dropped over a stabbing that happened in the Kenosha County area. I want to bring in our reporter Ben Hansen live in Racine right now. And Ben, this arrest was made all the way in Nebraska.
Yeah, so Maddie, this is kind of a crazy story still unfolding today, and I kind of want to give the viewers just a chance here. I want to give you guys a warning. What I'm talking about in this criminal complaint is pretty graphic, so if that does disturb you, just a heads up for what I'm about to talk about here. So it happened here in Racine. That was last Wednesday. It happened at around 12:45 in the morning. A father invited his son into his home, and then the son went to the bathroom and was talking to his dad. The son admitted that he had attempted suicide multiple times, and then the son asked the dad to go in for a hug, and when they were leaning in for the hug, the son stabbed the dad in the neck. The dad then got out of the house, ran away, and got to a neighbor's house to call 911, and that's when the son fled. He started driving, and then about 12 hours later, he was found on Interstate 80 in Nebraska. So that was only 12 hours later he drove that far in that amount of time getting out of the area. But Nebraska State Patrol did catch him on Interstate 80. And the really interesting thing now is now they have to bring him back here to Racine and go through that extradition process. Here, it was in Hall County in Nebraska. So now they have to bring him back here to Racine. I was talking to the county clerk in Hall County in Nebraska today, and she was saying that she's not sure how long that process is going to take because their courts are pretty backed up right now with other cases. But right now, Joseph Niemiec is the guy who stabbed his father in the neck, is charged with stabbing his father in the neck, I should say. He's being held at Hall County Jail right now, and that's in Nebraska. So the extradition process is still underway to get him back here to Racine, but officials are not certain on when that might happen. And today, my real focus was following up on any updates to get our viewers, but also talking to neighbors in the area who heard of the situation. I was talking to two of them that are probably about 8 houses, not or less, away from the intersection that Racine Police Department says it happened near. And again, that's 21st in Kentucky here in Racine. I was talking to neighbors today, and they were saying, one neighbor that I spoke to was saying that she's not as scared because she was thinking that this was more an internal dispute that was going on in the family and Niemiec's family. So she wasn't too scared about her safety going on now from this point here in this neighborhood. Another neighbor I spoke to says that they have cameras up around their house that point into the street, into their backyard and stuff, and the only runs at certain times, but now he says they're going to run it 24/7. So neighbors having mixed emotions here. The neighbor with the cameras a little bit more worried about the future. The other neighbor I spoke to, not as worried, saying that, again, it was an internal dispute, so she's not as worried for their neighborhood safety. Both of them said nothing like this has ever happened in their neighborhood before. So both of them were a little bit worried, but again, the conflicting responses on what is going to happen in the future. And again, the real focus here today is that extradition process and the neighbors' reactions. So we just have to wait and see with the neighbors' with the extradition process what is going to happen, and also with the neighbors' reactions, getting some insight into how people in this neighborhood are feeling. And I just want to clarify, Joseph Niemiec's dad, the one who was stabbed in the neck, he was responsive and talking, actually, and he was holding his hand over his neck, over the stab wound, when police arrived not much later after Niemiec ran away in his car. And they said in a Facebook post about 3 days ago, the Racine Police Department says that he is recovering. So it does look good for him as well.
It's good to hear that he is recovering, Ben. And I know in the break, you had explained a lot of different locations at play here, and I think I still managed to mess it up when I came out to you. So you said this happened in Racine from Pleasant Prairie. Arrest was in Nebraska.
Yes.
If that's correct.
Yes, that is correct. There's a lot of locations to keep track of here, like you were just saying. So Joseph Niemiec, the man that is charged with first-degree attempted homicide, he is from Pleasant Prairie. He lived in an apartment in Pleasant Prairie, and then I would have to assume his father that was at the house where the stabbing happened. His father lives here in Racine, again, near the intersection of 21st and Kentucky, right behind me, and that's where the stabbing happened in Racine. And then 12 hours later, after that happened, happened. Joseph Niemiec was pulled over and arrested in Nebraska near Hall County on Interstate 80. A lot of locations, but that lays it out.
Oh, Ben, thanks so much for breaking down the timeline for us. Confusing, but you explained it well for all of us here, and hopefully speedy recovery for the father that was involved in such a tragedy. Ben, thanks so much for joining us. We are going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We did obtain that criminal complaint. Ben is going to break down more of those details coming up on our early newscasts. So we'll be right back in 2 minutes. Switching gears here. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thanks for being with us here on Fox Local. Going to take you to some national news that we're following right now. This is a live look in Glenpool, Oklahoma, where emergency services right now are responding to a liquid natural gas tank fire happened near just off of the highway there in Glenpool. So police said that the call came in regarding an explosion at the Explorer pipeline facility around 8:30 this morning. As you can see, still very active right now. That fire still not contained hours later now. So 2 tanks exploded and still remain on fire, as you can see right here. Crews are on the scene working to put this fire out and prevent further spread. But as you can see, met with a lot of challenges here as gas, is involved here with the gas leaks. So the Glenpool Police Department said those areas in Glenpool where the fire is happening, drivers are asked to avoid it, and those streets are shut down as well. Alternate routes are available, and they should be listed for those people who are driving through there. The highway that this is off of is still open, but drivers are encouraged to use caution if they have to travel the highway. But I think police are saying don't go near this at all if you don't have to, and find those alternate routes. Luckily, no injuries reported right now or other fires. All surrounding businesses and residents have been evacuated. So Glenpool Public Schools are also sheltering in place as a precaution, but a pretty incredible photo right now, or video rather, as we could see this fire just continuing to burn right now. Doesn't seem to be, things have been put out much. Earlier this morning, lightning struck a tank at the Explorer pipeline, Glenpool Tank Farm, resulting in a fire. The local fire department and emergency response teams have responded and secured the site. Additional fire response resources are en route right now. So Glenpool police have closed, as we had said, the streets nearby. And this is, again, the note from Explorer Pipeline, the place involved in this incident. They're asking the public to please stay clear of the area as they continue to monitor the site alongside local emergency officials. Another live look a little closer to home right now. This is in Slinger, Wisconsin, where we know I-41 North was closed at one point. All lanes were blocked due to a massive crash that happened around 7 o'clock this morning. So I-41 southbound was closed from WIS 144 to WIS 145. Again, things do seem to be back up and running here. All lanes seem to be cleared. We do have calls in to law enforcement to try and get more information about this incident, but once we learn more, we will be sure to let you guys know here on Fox Local. Right now, it's a live look at the Milwaukee County Courthouse where we are awaiting Thomas Zollicoffer. He's a 36-year-old charged with 3 counts of first-degree intentional homicide for an incident that happened a couple weekends ago. We know that 3 people died here. Let's take a look. This is the man who's charged, who we are expected to see in court any moment now. And as we take a look at the other people who are charged in this investigation as well, Elena Cole, another person charged for harboring and aiding a felon. And then the other man, as you can see on the right side of your screen, also charged with harboring and aiding a felon here. These are photos of the victims from this incident that happened a couple Saturdays ago now. Vanessa De Herrera and Scott Buchholz, they were identified to us by their family members. This was the 3rd victim as well, Shamarla Hare, in this incident. So 3 people killed in this incident, the first being at the location of 21st and Pierce, second at 39th and Townsend. So we do know that these were connected. It was confirmed to us by police a couple days after these shootings happened. So we are expected to see Zollicoffer in court after he was charged. As you can see right here, this is a look at his mugshot right now. As we look out here, this is a live look right now in the courthouse. I'm going to pull up our article on our website right now just to give a little bit more background as to what was going on here and how this investigation happened. So here's a little bit of the backstory. Police first called to a shooting at an apartment building, the Knitting Factory Lofts near 21st and Pierce, around 9:45 on Saturday, August 8th at night. Court filings and search warrants say a woman told police Vanessa De Herrera, who's the 26-year-old who was killed, had been staying with her for a few days. Saturday afternoon filings say the woman had 6 other people in her apartment, including De Herrera and 29-year-old Scott Buchholz, when Zollicoffer arrived and began arguing with De Herrera. So just to give you a look right here to kind of put faces to names here. So court filings say witnesses told police Zollicoffer was accusing De Herrera of sleeping with other men, including Buchholz, the man on the right side of your screen. The woman told police Zollicoffer, who was a convicted felon and prohibited from possessing firearms, gave her his gun to put in her bedroom, later returned it when Zollicoffer said he was going to leave. Now, another witness said he and others were sitting on the couch when he saw Zollicoffer pointing a gun at De Herrera and said, quote, "I told you to quit playing with me," and shot De Herrera in the head. Oh my gosh. Buchholz was also shot. Both died at the scene. Now, De Herrera's family, the woman on the left side of your screen, told Fox 6 that she was a mother of 2 boys, ages 2 and 5, and was trying to leave her on and off again boyfriend. Buchholz's family said in an online post that Buchholz was helping a friend in a domestic dispute. About 20 minutes after the shooting on West Pierce and 4 miles away, police were called to a home near 39th and Townsend. That's where Shamarla Hare, the 3rd victim in this, the 39-year-old, she was found with a gunshot wound to the head. Also, this is all according to those court filings. A witness in the home also said to police that she and others heard a knock at the door, and when the door was open, Zollicoffer walked in and said, quote, "I want to talk to y'all. I got something to tell y'all." The witness said Hare got up from the couch and walked towards the door when Zollicoffer grabbed Hare and said, I quote, "I said I wanted to talk to y'all," pulled a gun from his waistband, said, quote, "I can't stand you anyways," and shot Hare. Waistband said, quote, "I can't stand you anyways," and shot Hare in the head. Again, this is all according to court filings obtained by Fox 6. A witness also telling police in those court filings, Zollicoffer then pointed a gun at her and said, "I just killed my baby mama," before telling Hare as she was slumped over on the couch. Also, I do apologize, this is graphic for some people, the details of this complaint. So it says as she was slumped over on the couch, bleeding from the head, and then saying, quote, "Look what you made me do," and then shot Hare again at close range. The witness said Zollicoffer was crying, and he said he was, quote, "sorry," and walked out the door. Court filings don't detail the connection between Zollicoffer and Hare. Now, Hare was rushed to the hospital but died during surgery. Surveillance video was recovered from the neighborhood, and it shows a person arrive in a car at 39th and Townsend, walk into Hare's home, and leave a little more than 2 minutes later, according to those court filings. So a little bit more information following that shooting. So the two shootings, they happened within 30 minutes, and 3 people died here as we've been going through statements from loved ones of these victims. So it started a hurried search for the suspect, a full-blown manhunt 2 Saturdays ago at night. So ballistics evidence found at both scenes matched the same gun, according to those court filings. Police also made an emergency request to a cell provider for phone records and location data. That's according to things that we reviewed here at Fox 6. Those records filings say put Zollicoffer's cell phone around both homicide scenes at the time of the shootings and showed Zollicoffer was in contact with a 47-year-old man numerous times on August 8th, including an hour before the homicides on Pierce Street. Now, court filings say witnesses at both crime scenes gave similar descriptions of a vehicle Zollicoffer was seen getting into. An older model light-colored mid-sized sedan also seen on surveillance video. Filings now say, and here's a photo of the man charged, and it looks like Zollicoffer is being brought in now after a very lengthy recap of what happened. So just to give you some context here, let's give you a live look again now at the courtroom right there. Excuse me, I accidentally hit the wrong button, but live look right now at the Milwaukee County Courthouse where Thomas Zollicoffer is expected to appear in court. Our reporter Bill Miston giving us updates from inside the courtroom saying that he's about to be brought out. So let's listen in right here as we wait for this appearance.
State, can you turn on your video?
If you make me. Is it on? I can't tell.
And the defense's video.
I think it's awesome. Darn it. I'm on. I'm sorry. Turn the audio off. That better?
It's not on.
I am ready. State of Wisconsin versus Thomas Zollicoffer, case number 26CF3953, counts 1, 2, and 4, first-degree intentional homicide. Counts 3, 5, 6, and 7, possess firearm convicted of a felony. This is an initial appearance assigned to Judge Borowski, Branch 12. Appearances, please.
Greg Kermit to the state.
And Mr. Zollicoffer appears with Ariel Rosenberg. We've received a copy of the criminal complaint, reviewed it. I'd waive its formal reading. He is eligible.
Counsel, is there an address and telephone number that he can provide?
No.
I will order the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department to obtain a DNA sample from the defendant if one is not already on file. The defendant is advised you may qualify to have the DNA sample data expunged at a future date if you meet certain conditions pursuant to Wisconsin Statute Section 165.77 sub 4. As to the criminal complaint, counts 1, 2, and 4, first-degree intentional homicide, a Class A felony, punishable by a term of imprisonment for life. As to counts 3, 5, 6, and 7, possession of a firearm by a felon, a Class G felony, punishable by a fine of not more than $25,000 or imprisonment for not more than 10 years or both. I will find probable cause as to the criminal complaint. You do have the right to a preliminary hearing in this matter. Before we select a date for that hearing, I'll hear bail arguments. I'll begin with the state.
Commissioner, obviously, highly significant cash bail is appropriate in this case. Start with the defendant's prior record. The main aspects of it are 2 felony convictions, one for a sexual assault case in 2009, the second for a mistreatment of animals case in 2011. And while those are both somewhat old, everything else is outweighed by the severe nature of the acts which constitute these very significant crimes. And essentially, to keep it in short, the defendant executed 3 people in cold blood. It's the only way of putting it. Normally, the state's case and homicide cases require 2 significant elements, obviously, or more, but 2 significant, one proving that this is the person who committed it. That's easy in this case. We have multiple witnesses in this case, plus a statement from the defendant, who also recovered some guns. And it's absolutely no problem at all and be uncontested. I believe that the defendant is the one who committed these acts. The second one that causes the state to, in addition, feel that very significant cash bail is warranted is the state's required in a first-degree homicide to prove that the defendant intended death in terms of the acts of shooting. And I just want to call one of these homicides to the court's attention, where he shot this woman, last name Dahira, and stated he only meant to wound her, and that in the defendant's own words, he said he lost it and then shot her again, shooting her in the head. Regarding the victim, Buchholz, the defendant said he shot Buchholz because the defendant was, quote, talking shit, end quote. He then went to the north side of town, he said, to buy some coke and to sell some guns, found an individual by the name of Hare, H-E-R-E, and said that the individual grabbed him, so he shot Hare in the head. All of these victims were shot multiple times, and given the defendant's statement, which, as I said previously, leads to the strength of the state's case in proving identity, they also directly prove that the defendant intended to kill all 3 of these people. It's proven not only by his own words, but by his own actions, by shooting 3 innocent people in the head and shooting them multiple times. As a result, the state feels that very significant cash bail is necessary in this case. We're requesting the court to order $1 million cash bail. Obviously, no firearms as a condition of bail. Also, have submitted to the court a no-contact order with a lengthy number of people. I would like to call the court's attention that normally we use initials in a no-contact order. Because the number of people and the similarity of some of the names, we're deviating from our normal rule and asking that the actual full names of the victims and witnesses be used so that there's absolutely no confusion. I won't read the whole list here just to save court time, but I'm asking the court to adopt the state's no contact order as is and make it part of the court's order in terms of condition of bail. Thank you.
Thank you, State. Do we have the no contact order? All right, I'll hear from the defense as to bail.
Thank you. I'm asking that the court consider significantly less cash bail on behalf of Mr. Zollicoffer. I understand, and we both recognize that the court will be setting some amount of significant cash here. I'm asking that the court consider $250,000, which quite frankly is far more than Mr. Zollicoffer will be able to post in this case. He is, of course, at this time presumed innocent. He has not gone through a preliminary hearing. There has been no probable cause hearing on this matter. His record is quite dated and limited, and under those circumstances, I would ask the court to set significantly less cash bail. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Do we have the no contact order yet?
Let me double check. It was sent actually 9:12 a.m. Oh, sorry, that's the co-defendant. Forgive me. Sorry. What the hell happened to it? You should have it. It was actually sent this morning. I could resend it, however. It may have been sent on the co-defendant's name. Yeah, let me redo it under the this defendant's name, just in case. Okay. Damn it.
Ben Haleman here from the Wisconsin Live Desk. That is Thomas Zolikoff. We're waiting on some paperwork in court. This is the man accused of killing 3 people, including his ex, a man he thought that she was sleeping with, and then a third person at a different location. Then there was a manhunt. Took a couple days for police to find him, and there was a dramatic takedown caught on FOX 6 cameras. This is his first court appearance. They're discussing bail right now as his lawyer, who is speaking to Thomas Zolikoff, they're asking for $250,000 in bail. And prosecutors want a lot more than that. The holdup right now is some paperwork on the no contact list, which may be null and void to an extent, because I think cash bail is going to be set very high in just a couple of minutes here. But we'll take you back inside the courtroom and see what they decide on bail as we've passed the 2:30 hour here on your Wisconsin Live Desk.
Okay, thank you for your patience. You should have it now correct. Excuse me.
And we continue to wait. You know, sometimes these hearings go really quick, and sometimes there's a holdup like this. There's a visibly annoyed court commissioner at the front of the room here who will decide bail here in a second as The prosecutors have said they are wanting to submit a list of names, and there was this gathering when this all started with several people. These would all be witnesses, and they want to make sure those people are on the no contact list. Normally, they would be submitted to the court with initials, but the prosecution here is saying a lot of those people have similar names, and therefore they don't want there to be any confusion in the future if it's Zollicoffer is accused of running into one of these people and they all have similar names. They want to make sure that the no contact order is correct. So for some reason, we're waiting on this list from the prosecutors, as I think he's emailing back and forth with his office there. That's the prosecution on the left, defense on the right. And we will continue to wait. This case has gotten really bonkers because as charges have filed, okay, let's listen in this. Let's listen in here.
If released from custody, the defendant is ordered to attend all scheduled court hearings. I'm going to order, sir, that you not possess any firearms or dangerous weapons. I'll also order drug testing and absolute sobriety. I'll grant the state's request for a no contact, no firearms order. You may not have contact with Singh Chank, Vince Savannah, Deja Davis, Taylorin Talady, Dupree Burns, Kevin Lurbach, Gregory Carpenter, Brianna Domino, Aiden Schlieve, Patricia Carter, Pamela Carter, Mark Sharp, and George Savage. No contact means no contact in person, by mail, by third party, by electronic device, by telephone, or through social media. Failure to comply with the bail conditions could result in the issuance of additional criminal charges against you or the imposition of additional cash bail. I'll sign the no contact, no firearms order at this time. The pretrial risk assessment report has the defendant on level 5 and recommends financial and GPS. I'll follow the recommendation. This will be level 5 supervision. As to bail, I've considered the statements of the attorneys as well as the criminal complaint that's before the court. The defendant's exposure is significant, having been charged with multiple felony offenses. The defendant has a prior criminal record as referred to in the pretrial risk assessment report. It indicates in part prior misdemeanor convictions, yes. Prior felony convictions, yes. Prior violent convictions, yes. I've also considered the fact that this defendant is eligible for public defender representation. The probable cause portion of the criminal complaint makes reference to statements by various witnesses to the homicides. On page 3 of the complaint, it indicates in part, DAB stated he saw the defendant pointing a firearm at De Herrera. DAB stated that he heard the defendant say something along the lines of, quote, "I told you to quit playing with me," end quote, and shot De Herrera in the head. DAB stated that the defendant fired approximately 3 gunshots and then turned the firearm towards everyone on the couch. On page 4 of the complaint, there is a statement by a witness, PAC. PAC stated that the defendant grabbed a black handgun from his waistband and pointed it at Hare and shot Hare. The defendant pointed the firearm at her and stated, quote, "I just killed my baby mama." PAC stated the defendant then put the firearm on the back of Hare's head and shot her again. These allegations are extremely serious in the eyes of the court and certainly merit significant cash bail. I'm going to set $1 million cash bail, GPS supervision, no contact order monitoring only. The cash bail alternative will be $1,250,000 cash. We will schedule a date for our next court hearing.
Afternoon time, please.
Next court date is August 24th, 1:30 p.m. for a preliminary hearing in preliminary court.
There you have it, bail set. $1 million for Thomas Zollicoffer, accused of gruesomely killing 3 different people, including his ex, a person that he was accusing was sleeping with his ex, and then driving to another location and just cold-blooded killing someone because said they were talking, quote, expletive, and then shot them in the head. The prosecution was asking for $1 million. The defense only wanted $250,000. Here in Wisconsin, a little different than some other states, the cash bail is set only on the condition of will this person come back to court. They said level 5 supervision here. That's the highest level of supervision. Basically, they think this guy's a flight risk, and especially with the allegations against him. As you were seeing, Thomas Zollicoffer signed some of the paperwork there. They're going to take his DNA, if they don't already have it, from prior offenses, which I'm pretty sure they already do. And for the first time, we're hearing just some of the allegations that are just tough to listen to. According to witnesses, Thomas Zollicoffer shows up at this party with multiple people that were there, and the prosecution talked about that there's multiple witnesses to what happened here, at least with the first 2 deaths. And apparently he got into it with his ex. He gave a gun to a different woman at the party, and then according to prosecutors, he got the gun back when he said he was going to leave, pointed it at his ex, and then just the allegations are a cold-blooded murder, shooting her in the head, shooting her a second time, and also shooting a friend who was there at the party, and both of them died on scene. Things get even wackier after this first 3 homicides happen because Thomas Zollicoffer is not the only person charged. And once he walks out of court here, look, he's trying to cover his face. A little too late there, Mr. Zollicoffer, because the cameras have been pointing at you the whole time here in court. But there are a couple other people charged here with helping him hide out. It took authorities a couple of days to find him. Sometimes it's telling, though, when authorities did not release really any information. And as a journalist, sometimes I take that as they don't need the public's help. They knew they were going to track this guy down, and they were able to do that. You can see he's kind of walking with a noticeable limp there. And there he goes, walking out of court. These here are the first 2 victims that were at the party, according to the prosecution, Vanessa de Herrera, his ex, and Scott Buchholz. And then, according to the prosecutors, he went to a 3rd location and killed Shamar Lahair just minutes after showing up, and in his own words, according to the criminal complaint, telling authorities, telling Hare that he wanted to tell her something and grabbed her and then killed Shamar Lahair with a gunshot to the head at a 2nd location. And I do just want to quickly, before we take a break, talk about the accusations against the 2 other people, because there are 2 people both charged with harboring and aiding a felon. One individual, the man on the right, is accused of driving Zollicoffer around from location to location. And according to the prosecution, eventually Thomas Zollicoffer ends up at Elena Cole's house, admits that he had killed 3 people, according to court documents. What does Elena Cole do? Well, she let Zollicoffer not only stay at her house, but watch 3 of her children after admitting, according to the prosecution, that he had murdered 3 people. Elena Cole is accused of leaving him with her kids, saying she didn't want to get into it, was the reason that she told police she never called them, and said she thought he would just eventually get into a shootout with police if she did, but still for some reason left her kids with him. So those are some of the new details that are coming out today that are absolutely bonkers in this case. And you just witnessed his first court appearance here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. There are some other things developing, and we'll break them down for you when we continue this next hour on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
2:51 on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We got a lot going on. I will say in 9 minutes, we're going to talk about a prime rib trail. So get your appetites ready for that. We are watching some crazy stuff that's going on right now. This is a live picture from Glenpool, Oklahoma, and that is a burning natural gas tank that is causing evacuations out there in Oklahoma, as there's not a lot they can do to put out this burning natural gas out at this facility there. And that's been burning for a long time now. So we've got our eyes on that as, again, evacuations are underway out in Oklahoma. A lot closer to home, we just saw what happened in court with the $1 million set for Mr. Zollicoffer, accused of killing 3 people, and some more people have been charged with helping him hide, allegedly. So there were some interesting details coming out of court down there in the Milwaukee County Courthouse. It was a really tough morning out on the road. Slinger, 2 different accidents, and 1 person died in one of them. And in the second one, 4 people sent to the hospital, including an infant who had to be airlifted to Children's. They have now reopened the road, but 41 was shut down for a very long time out there in Slinger. So we'll get you some of those new details as we're learning them. And we're also following the weather here. Roof open kind of day, although, are there Brewers back in town? Where are the Brewers? Because they were in Los Angeles. So they coming back tomorrow. They got the day off. So the grass gets a day off from anyone stepping on it. A pretty beautiful day out there, 75 degrees, kind of feels like summer. Will it stay that way? I don't know. I'm not a weather expert, but we have a few of those on staff. It's Stephanie Barkello joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hello.
What a beautiful day. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Ben. It is. It's gorgeous outside right now. It was sweltering over the weekend.
Yes, it was.
Not necessarily temperature-wise. It was more so those dew points. They were well into the 70s.
They were brutal.
Brutal. Absolutely. You step outside, and any activity you do, it's just instant sweat.
It's what's that show where they have vampires that zap your energy? That's how I felt when I went to a farmer's market. It's an FX show.
Oh, okay.
I forget the name of it. Anyway, I went to a farmer's market yesterday and just walking, the Shorewood one.
Yeah.
Walking from one end to the other, I was like, my energy's all gone from this humidity. It's brutal.
Yeah, it was kind of a tough weekend, I think, if you spent a lot of time outside. It's so hard not to, Ben, because, we're nearing back to school. So it's like no matter the weather, you try to get as much done outside as you can, right? So it was a really humid weekend. Today's perfect, though, essentially. Dew points have dropped to 50s in some spots and low 60s in others, which normally I think we would say 60s are a little sticky. But compared to the weekend, I'm calling today relief across the area. We have sunshine, temperatures still nearing 80. So, yeah, perfect summer day. Now, we are going to see dew points increase again tomorrow, but even the week as a whole will just be kind of up and down. So a little humid tomorrow. Better Wednesday, Thursday, little humid late in the week, and some of those dew points climbing a correlation to when we have some rain in our forecast. So I know you already mentioned Brewers tomorrow. It's a Brew Crew Tuesday. There's a chance for some scattered thunderstorms throughout the afternoon and evening. I'm not terribly concerned with severe potential. We could have potentially some gustier wind, but storms are going to be scattered throughout the day. So hoping tailgate's going to be just fine. Obviously, game time, we have the roof, so that doesn't really matter.
Right.
But we will need to watch those storm chances tomorrow for anybody tailgating.
Which is like our entire FOX6 team, because it's a Brew Crew Tuesday. I'm excited for Brew Crew Tuesday to be back.
Yeah.
We've been lucky, though, with the weather department being dry, so we're okay. We bring tents out usually.
That's exactly what our manager said in the meeting. We've got a big tent, it's fine.
I've been out of town, so I don't know what the planning has been for tomorrow. I just know that they've probably thought about it, hopefully.
Yes, and I'm sad I will not be there. I was at the last one, but meteorologist Holly Baker will be down there. I believe your partner in crime, Kim Murphy, will be down there.
That's the first time she's doing a Brew Crew Tuesday out in the field, I think, this season.
They're so fun.
They are so fun. It's fun because I like doing fun things big, and that is a huge thing that we do. So,
yeah,
we hand out free stuff, we get to meet a bunch of people, that sort of thing. So as we look, kids really are. They're thinking about, okay, a lot of kids just have this week and next week, and then it's right back to school.
It's like September 1st, essentially.
I know.
Kids, if not next week.
Some of the pools have already shut down because all the college kids have gone back to school. And there's a lot of college kids like that. It's kind of funny when the college kids leave. It's like they disappear. I'm like, where are those college kids who are walking around all morning in my neighborhood? Oh, they've gone to school already, Steph. I can't believe it.
I know, and all the coffee shops are a little emptier. Target's a little emptier. It's like, wow, what happened here? But it is that time.
And then ironically, they fill back up when the college kids start their classes and then just take up all the tables at the coffee shops. And you're like, what's going on with this?
That is their designated space. It's fine.
And how are we in the rain department? Because we were okay. We got rid of the drought conditions. And now I feel like we could use a little more rain.
We could. Unfortunately, we did not see rain over the weekend. So we were looking at Saturday as our chance for some showers and storms. There were a few pop-ups here or there, but that stalled front from last week stayed south of us. So unfortunately, it was a week of heavy rain and severe weather primarily south of us. I know we saw a little bit of it earlier last week, but even Saturday's chances mainly stayed south. We will see what the drought monitor has in store for Thursday. There are still some northern communities that are under moderate drought, and northern Wisconsin is actually under severe drought right now. So northern Wisconsin has not seen as much as our southern communities have seen over the last week. So yes, we will always take more rain. We still have a surplus for the month of August, but we'll see, because you're right, it's been a little bit of a dry stretch, but because of how much we saw earlier in the month, we'll probably still continue to see a surplus even, in the next week. But we absolutely could still use the rain, especially since we did not really see it on Saturday. So Tuesday, and then right now it looks like Friday. I think it's kind of an either or. It's Friday or it's Saturday. We have chances both days, but as I was reforecasting for the 4 o'clock, I'm honing more so in on Friday for the better chance of rain at this point, which would be great for our weekend plans.
That would be good. And we kind of have lucked out because, like, my in-laws who live down in northwest Indiana, right at the bottom of Lake Michigan, they just got their power on today after the storms.
Kidding?
So they've been without, it's just awful, all the trees that went down from the storms a week ago. Right. And they're just getting their power back on. So we have plenty of things to be grateful for here in southeast Wisconsin.
We do. We'll just hang tight to that statement.
Thanks, Steph. Our producer let us know the show. It's What We Do in the Shadows. That's the vampires. And one of them's like an energy vampire who's hysterical. So it's like a funny vampire show. You don't get too many of those.
You're right.
So,
I think we have more aliens than vampires, so maybe that should switch.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for coming on, Steph. Appreciate it. She's the best. You know what else also the best? Beef.
Thank you.
Lots of beef. And we're going to talk about if you have a favorite place to maybe get a prime rib. Someone wants to know about it. We'll talk about it next.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
gentlemen, from the Wisconsin Live Desk, it's been a busy half hour since I've been here in the Wisconsin Live Desk studios. We'll get back to what's going on locally. We are following some national headlines, like what's going on in Oklahoma. Look at this shot from that natural gas tank that has caught fire and just keeps burning. That's a live picture. There are reported evacuations telling people to stay away in Glenpool, Oklahoma, as you are looking at why, as that is just really nasty, and it's pretty impossible to get those things to not be on fire anymore. So we're going to keep watching that shot very closely as well. Also, there's been some really interesting news. I don't know if you caught this, into the presidential primary. I know, we're talking governor's race here in Wisconsin with our election that just got done, but we got to start thinking about the presidential primaries, and the Democrats have shifted and made a big change. And here to talk about that is Kaylee Schuyler, joining us live from Concord, New Hampshire. Great to see you, and a beautiful location that you're at. So the Democrats, we're so used to Iowa being first. That will not be the case anymore?
Yeah, hi there, Ben. It truly is crazy. We're already talking about the 2028 presidential election. So the DNC has kind of changed around their presidential primary calendar to have South Carolina first. And I'm coming to you from New Hampshire. This is a little bit of deja vu for Granite Staters. So New Hampshire, by law, is required to hold its presidential primary at least 7 days before any similar contest. Now, back in 2024, this could be a little bit of drama. The DNC changed the calendar to have South Carolina kick everything off. That's what they're trying to do again this year. But 4 years ago, or back in 2024, State Leader Sear said that's not going to happen and moved their primary up so it could be first. That caused then President Joe Biden, to skip the primary here. But he ultimately ended up winning because his supporters here in the state ended up running a write-in campaign for him. So this decision to have South Carolina go first for the primaries probably isn't going to go over well a second time.
This is big business for these states because these are very small states usually that would not necessarily get all of the presidential contenders to not only be there right before the primary, but they are there sometimes months and months ahead of time with events and bringing in all this extra cash. So this is a big deal for these states to try and be first.
Right, and I interviewed two political science professors today, and they both said that they think maybe this could change how candidates campaign across the country. Basically, they were telling me, do these candidates want to try to go against party rules and really campaign hard here? That could potentially have some repercussions. Both of the political science professors told me it depends what sanctions the DNC wants to impose. So we'll just have to see. They both said, and again, I covered the 2024 presidential primary here in New Hampshire. It is a point of pride for them to hold the first primary in the country. I mean, it's a whole ordeal. All of the voters are flocking to the diners, trying to talk to the candidates face to face and asking questions. So they said this could change a little bit of what that looks like. Are the candidates going to push us hard here in New Hampshire? Could be something where maybe if other candidates aren't, another candidate will come up here and try to win the primary. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It's always interesting, too, because whoever wins, as you just mentioned, wins these early state primaries doesn't necessarily end up becoming the nominee, which is part of the drama behind why they're trying to shake up the calendar, right?
Right. Basically, these early windows just kind of set the tone and kind of almost dictates a little bit of the polling, essentially, and gives a candidate momentum if they're winning one of the states in the early window. So the DNC is coming back and saying that this new calendar, essentially, it kind of helps give voters a bigger grasp of what the Democratic Party diversity and demographic is actually like. So that's really the DNC's argument for wanting to change this calendar, is that it's more representative of their party. Now, New Hampshire says we have 100 years of history here and we want to uphold that.
So as it stands right now, what is the calendar? Who goes first, second, third?
Yeah, so South Carolina kicks things off in January, and that's the only contest right now scheduled for January. Then throughout February, let me read this off to you because I don't have it memorized, but in February, then it'll be Nevada, New Hampshire third, New Mexico, Michigan, and Virginia will round out the early states. So New Hampshire is still in there, but again, it's state law here to go first.
Yeah, and it's a big deal when you're not first because, again, it brings in more than just the votes that first time. It brings in all of us media. We all go to these states that we wouldn't necessarily go to. So, wow, very interesting. Kaylee, thanks for joining us on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thanks, Ben.
So there we have it. Some changes underway, and we'll see how it shakes out, not only for the upcoming race, but races for years from now. Because how many of you have even thought about the presidential primary as we're just trying to think towards November, the midterms of this upcoming election? This is like a whole cycle ahead of that. All right, stay with us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We continue to follow the breaking news that's happening out in Oklahoma and our local headlines. I got an update on Slinger, and we are going to talk about beef. So a well-rounded meal for you on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Handelman from the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is 3:09 on your Monday as we continue to follow that breaking news out in Oklahoma as this natural gas tank fire is really impressive, and those flames have not subsided since I've been here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, as they have some evacuations underway in Glenpool, Oklahoma. We'll keep watching that scene. Close to the home, it's a much more beautiful sight. Roof's open at American Family Field. Granted, nobody's playing today, a day off for the baseball team after they had a great outing out in Los Angeles after a not-so-great outing in San Diego, so kind of a split bill on their California games. But we're happy to have the Brewers back at home on a Brew Crew Tuesday tomorrow. They're bringing in a West Coast team as the Seattle Mariners are in town. A little interleague action for you on a Brew Crew Tuesday, as we're going to have the whole team at the ballpark starting all day. That will be a lot of fun. You know what else will be fun? How about going on an adventure with your taste buds and going all around the state to try all sorts of new things? There is a something they're doing again, and I'm so happy they are. It is called the Prime Rib Trail, put on by the Wisconsin Beef Council, where you can go from spot to spot and try and find the best meal out there. We are so excited about this. Joining us now, it's Caitlin Kessler from the Wisconsin Beef Council, because we need recommendations. Thanks for joining us. Oh, hold on one second. I hit the wrong button here. Let's try that again. I didn't have the audio pulled up, so let's try it again. We need recommendations.
That's right. We do. We know that Wisconsin is known for our supper clubs and our prime rib tradition. I know it's a favorite of mine on Saturday nights to go out with family and get that beautiful piece of meat on my plate. And we want to make that fun trail for folks to be able to travel across Wisconsin and sample those different platters, whether they're on a family vacation or just seeking something to do. So last year was the first time that we had launched our prime rib trail with Gather Wisconsin, and we had 16 locations from Keeler down in the very far southwest corner of Wisconsin, all the way up to Ashland, over to Door County. And we want to fill this map again because we're looking to release this prime rib trail in September. So we're asking folks as we're winding through August and maybe even early September, let us know where are we missing some of these hidden gems across the state, because we really want to get them on our 2026 trail.
I think Wisconsin is a unique state when it comes to prime rib because we have so many supper clubs. It's kind of part of our DNA here. How many submissions did you have last year?
Last year, I won't lie, we didn't get a ton of submissions. We were maybe around 50 or so, but I just checked before we popped on. We're at 478 so far. So I know that it's just going to keep going. And you know how it is. When people are offered the opportunities to submit, they usually don't get feisty about it until they see the final product. And they say, no, you should have put this restaurant, this supper club on the trail. And that's what we saw last year. And that's what we're seeing as we're reminding folks, hey, this was the image that we had last year. Which new stops should we add for 2026? So we're glad that we have hundreds to sort through now, and hopefully we'll get hundreds more to go through before we put our final stamp on it.
That's insanity that you've seen such a jump in the number of people who said, wait, I need this to be on the trail. Is it because of all the press you got last year once the trail was announced?
I think so. We were so fortunate that people got excited and they shared it, that we had pickup from folks like you guys who are willing to put the word out there for folks that were looking for delicious beef. And it's not just the fact that we have that prime rib supper club passion in Wisconsin. We're such an agricultural state too, where our farmers are proud of the communities that they're feeding and our communities are proud to show their support. So it's a really fun full circle event when we're able to put something like this out there.
Did you hear from any of the businesses who got put on the trail last year? Were there people who went to multiple stops on the trail, or any brave souls who made a vacation out of this?
We did. And actually, what's funny that you mentioned that was when we put out our Ask for nominations, people were already saying in the comments, I'm game, let's do this. We're going to need to go to all the stops. And we even had some of the restaurants reach out saying, hey, we're getting a lot more questions about our prime rib ever since this trail was released. I actually just reached out to one of these restaurants here this morning because I wanted to do a little bit of follow up with them about what this impact has been. We know that our supper clubs are already busy with their locals. And so if we can get some of those other folks to come in and see their quirks and see their traditions, I think it's just a lot of fun. I know the first time that I go into a new supper club, and you may have experienced this as well, they have their own routines for how you order, where you wait. Of course, it's classic to stop for some old fashions before you get served your prime rib, but it's just really neat to see the different cultures in each community.
And that, I guess, is the point of all this. Obviously, you're trying to promote the beef in all of this, but also the small businesses.
That's right. You know, so many of these small businesses, it's family members and friends, or you have the local crew that they started bartending when they're teenagers and worked their way up that ladder at that restaurant. And last year when we were gathering some of these supper clubs to do media interviews, what was really heartwarming was so many of them said, can I invite my beef supplier? Can I invite so-and-so who's also part of this? Because it isn't just me as the owner or as a manager. It really is a team effort to be able to have these out there in the community. And that's just so nice to see.
Yeah, and I don't think we always think sometimes when we're at these supper clubs, where did this beef come from? And Wisconsin has a very healthy number of people who are beef suppliers.
We absolutely do. And what's so unique about Wisconsin is the fact that we have the robust dairy industry that's also feeding into our beef supply chain. So we have our beef farmers and ranchers as well as our dairy farmers that probably makes up about 23,000 farmers that are raising cattle all across our state. It's hard to go for one of those road trips without driving by some of those animals out on pasture or some of those dairy farms. And so to be able to see their product on your plate and know the dedication and passion they put into it, I mean, you could tell the the taste and flavor in every bite.
Yeah. So if people are now thinking, man, I want my favorite spot to be nominated, how do they do that?
Go to beeftips.com/prime rib trail, or if you just go to beeftips.com, it should pop up on our website that we're seeking those nominations. And we wanted to make it as easy as possible. So all you need to do is list the restaurant name and the city. If you want to sign up for our newsletter where we'll send recipes and events going on, you can, but there's no obligation. All we need from you is that restaurant name and the city that it's in, and then boom, you're done. You've done your part, and you're helping us create a fantastic trail for 2026.
And we know you have hundreds of applications now of spots that people want highlighted. Who gets to pick the winners, and how many are you going to pick this year?
We're going to work with Gather Wisconsin to select those winners that we're going to put on the trail, wanting to make sure not only that they're spots that received a lot of nominations, but also spots that give a nice swoop all across the state of Wisconsin. And so I'm really excited to team up with our folks at Gather. We might have to do some taste testing too, put some real background research into this to make sure that they're the best ones to be able to put on the trail. And I'm thinking we'll go with another 16 like we did last year. Keep it our Sweet 16 with the Wisconsin Beef Council. We also have a burger contest where we have an Elite 8. So keeping up with that theme of getting folks out there enjoying fantastic beef.
16 is a good number because once you hit 17, you're like, I'm full on prime rib. But 16, that sounds just right to visit all 16 of those. This sounds so fun. It was last year. It's bringing joy to the newsroom. I don't think you realize this. When this press release comes out into our inbox, like we're all talking about it and we're all sharing different spots that we love. And I guess that's a success for you guys. That's what you guys want us to do, right?
I will say you were the first ones to reach out immediately, and I appreciate that. And that's absolutely what we want. We want this to be fun and rewarding.
Maybe it just shows how much we love prime rib here at the FOX6 Newsroom. So thanks for coming on, Caitlin. Appreciate it. And we will submit our restaurants and supper clubs as quick as we can.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Appreciate it. And if they need any taste testers, I think I am willing to sign up and take one for the team on that. That is awesome that so many people have come out this year and said, you know what, I want my restaurant to be on there when there weren't as many last year. So it just shows you how successful that's been. And hopefully we do this for years to come. All right, stay with us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. More to come. Still following what's going on out in Oklahoma and our local headlines. I've got some new information about what happened in Slinger this morning. They closed the highway for hours. That's next.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
All right, Ben Handelman from the Wisconsin Live Desk. One thing people are talking about today is how the Wisconsin State Fair ended late last night. Fights were reported. Of course, teens are going to pull out their phones. And so you may have seen videos like this of just groups of teens kind of wandering the grounds, and at times there were several fights and looked like some chaotic moments as people were running around the State Fair. This was right around closing time. Well, we've just got, in the last few minutes here, a statement from the Wisconsin State Fair. So I want to bring that up here. This is from State Fair Park officials saying, Sunday evening near close of the annual State Fair, Wisconsin State Fair Park Police, with the support of the Milwaukee and West Dallas Police Departments, responded to disturbances on and around Wisconsin State Fair Park. This included individuals attempting to gain unauthorized access to the fair, as well as disturbances involving groups on the grounds. Law enforcement and security staff responded quickly as these incidents occurred. For 11 days, hundreds of thousands of guests came together for a safe and successful Wisconsin State Fair. The incidents Sunday evening were isolated to the final hours of the fair and are not representative of the experience our guests enjoyed throughout the event. The behavior is always unacceptable and is not what we expect or will tolerate at Wisconsin State Fair Park. We had enhanced security and additional law enforcement resources in place throughout the fair, including support from the Milwaukee and West Dallas Police Departments, Milwaukee Police District 3, MPD Major Events Response Team, mounted and bicycle patrols, and drone coverage. Those resources allowed our security and public safety teams to respond quickly Sunday evening. We continually review our security plans with law enforcement partners and look for ways to make the fair even safer for our guests. So this is just video of one of these fights. Looks like that's near the Coliseum. It's interesting, they put their own Q&A here in the press release they sent out saying how many people were injured. No serious injuries were reported to fairgoers at this time. How many police officers were injured? One police officer was struck and had no serious injuries. How many officers were on site? We had enhanced security and additional law enforcement resources in place throughout the fair, including support from the Milwaukee and West Dallas Police Departments, Milwaukee Police District 3, MPD Major Events Response Team, mounted and bicycle patrols, and drone coverage. I think some of the criticism online has been, where are the police officers in all of this? And the State Fair is saying we did respond quickly, and we're watching some of these groups. But yeah, this is kind of hard to watch, some of these videos here, at least this video that we're showing you. Big question, how many individuals were arrested? 7 individuals were arrested regarding this disturbance on August 16th, 2026. So that's what we've learned, that 7 people have been arrested. I would not be surprised if police are looking at all of these videos and looking to possibly get some more names and some more arrests. But it's just some tough stuff to watch there, as we do have a crew on this today. As again, this was happening, sadly, right at the end of the 11-day run of the Wisconsin State Fair, as there were reports of groups both inside and outside, and some of the reports were some of these teens were jumping the fence to get inside, and then there were some fights. So that's what's going on there. It's the State Fair. That's the response, and we do have crews on it today. Also watching what's happening, still burning out in Oklahoma. Live picture from Glenpool, Oklahoma, where this has just been burning for hours now. This is a natural gas tank that somehow caught fire, and it's caused evacuations. Glenpool, it's near Tulsa. So if you are familiar with the state of Oklahoma, this is south. Kind of due south if you were driving kind of towards Texas. That is where Glenpool is, not a very big city. And they're dealing with this in the Tulsa area. As that big, I mean, look how much, I'm not sure what kind of tank this is, or if this is a facility that feeds natural gas to the area, but that is a large flames that we have seen coming from that area. So we will continue to watch what is going on out there in Oklahoma. A lot closer to the home. Scattered showers are possible as let's take a quick live look outside here. Beautiful shot there of downtown Milwaukee as we're going to get ready for our next half hour of the Wisconsin Live Desk. So is Maddie coming back in? Is that our host? Maddie Stelk will be joining us. One of your favorite Wisconsin Live Desk hosts will take back over and bring you back up to the top of the hour for Fox 6 News at 4. She's got the latest. We do have some new information about what happened out there in Slinger on the interstate. A nasty crash, but the interstate is back open. As we have learned, there were actually 2 crashes out there on the interstate. Let me just show you a live picture of that right now. So there's Slinger. According to law enforcement, there was a motorcyclist right at the split who, according to law enforcement, accelerated and crashed. And unfortunately, that person ended up passing away. Then, according to law enforcement, because of the slowdowns and the stoppage on the interstate, there was a secondary crash that involved trucks. And a truck did not allegedly stop when traffic ahead of him did, and he slammed right into at least another semi-truck and a vehicle, and multiple people, 4 people, were taken to the hospital with serious injuries, and 1 toddler airlifted to Children's Wisconsin. They shut down the interstate for hours. They were investigating, and just really in the last hour have they opened things back up there in Slinger on 41. So terrible morning out on the interstate as, again, 1 motorcyclist was killed and then a bunch of people were hurt from that secondary crash, including an infant who had to be airlifted to Children's Wisconsin out in Wauwatosa. So we'll stay on the latest. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring up this live shot from Tulsa because Maddie's going to jump in here and take you to the Fox 6 News at 4. Ooh. Hold on one second. I'm going to bring you to a trial. All right, I'm actually going to bring you to the Tupac trial, the individual who is accused of killing Tupac. I believe that's what we're looking at here in one of my channels that's popped up. Let me just pull up.
The nature of who the victim was.
Yeah, we'll listen to this. Maddie's going to join you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
You wanted us to come out to it.
Let me ask you, we've heard from a first responder today. Back in those days, what was general assignment? What does that mean?
General assignment was in essence, the night detectives. They worked swing shift and graveyard shift. So they were the night detectives that if something needed a detective to respond, they were the ones that got called out to the scene.
So they would have been at this scene before you, and then they made a determination along with, I assume, the command staff that homicide should be called out to this investigation.
Correct. Actually, uniformed officers would have been the first people called to the scene of anything. And general assignment, I'm sure, was monitoring the traffic. So if they had heard the call, they may have been responding, but they would have gone out, assessed the scene, and eventually determined if someone, the type of scene it was and if someone needed to come out to it. And in this case, I guess someone must have called Sergeant Manning because he's the one that called us.
And your partner, Detective Franks, do you recall?
I believe he got sent directly to a University Medical Center, the hospital, which is where Shakur and I believe Suge Knight got sent to.
And your responsibility, was there also crime scene analysts that were called up to the scene?
Yeah, my initial response was to the scene to start handling things directly at the crime scene, yes.
And then does at some point crime scene analyst Dan Ford show up and document the scene while you're present?
Dan Ford was already there from what I recall. They were called CSAs back then, I believe. Yeah, Dan Ford would have already been there. Usually CSAs, because CSAs were assigned to each shift. So I'm pretty sure he was that particular shift, CSA, out there doing whatever he did for the scene, marking it, taking photographs and such.
When you, at the end of sort of both the two scene investigation, Boulevard as well as the Flamingo and Koval investigation, essentially what was the facts you were dealing with?
Well, according to the I had interviewed Frank Alexander, Malcolm Greenidge, Katari Cox, and Yafu Fula, and I'm just doing what I remember the pronunciation was. They were in the car behind Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur, and what they described was that a white car, and from what I recall, they described a white Cadillac pulling up alongside Knight's car, and someone inside that white Cadillac opening fire or shooting into the car that Knight and Shakur were at. Their descriptions varied a little bit, but from what I recall, I believe they all said it was a white car and more or less agreed that it was a Cadillac. And there might have been a little bit of a variance between 2 and 4 occupants.
And what direction after the shooting does
Hey everybody, Maddie Stelk just getting logged in here. I'll be taking over for the next half hour until Fox 6 News at 4. This is live right now in Las Vegas. Testimony now underway in the murder trial of Tupac. We are going to dip out of this real quick, take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
It is 3:35 on your Monday afternoon. Thanks for being with us here on Fox Local. Pretty great story for you guys. I've been excited about this literally all day. So a Gillies frozen custard worker in Fond du Lac breaking the internet right now after a little incident happened last week. Take a look at this video right here and I'll show you. I want to make sure it comes at the right time. So let's see for the replay. Here we go. All right, you guys, just wait. Here it comes, and there we go. A custard fail, if you will. This was posted by Gillies on Facebook and has been getting so much reaction all over the internet, including in our FOX6 newsroom. I want to bring in Carter Sampson right now, the man, the myth, the legend from this video. Carter, thanks for being with us on the live desk.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So walk us through what exactly happened here. This was last week, right?
Yeah, so this was Wednesday last week. I was a little embarrassed to post it up until this weekend. But so it was the easiest open you could have had there all day. And you can tell from the time up there, it's like 10:40. So it's like 20 minutes before we open. I'm just going to put the mix in the machine there. And I just feel it slip out of my hand. I just go, oh boy. And then I try and catch it. And clearly I didn't end up catching it at all. So.
Oh my, what was going through your mind right when it fell? I could see your coworker right there got hit a little bit.
Yeah.
Where do you even begin after this?
I couldn't see. You can see me take off my glasses there. I could not see what was going on. It was just full of mix. And my first thought was, oh boy. And then my boss comes around the corner. He's like, oh boy. And I was just like, I didn't even know what to do. I was so stunned. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? He's like, you can just go home and shower quick. And I was like, all right, I'll go do that. So.
Oh my God. And then how long did that take to clean up? You said this was right before you guys opened?
Yeah, I think they cleaned it up in like 15 minutes. I went home, showered quick. And by the time I got back, it was already cleaned up. So.
My big question, have you been to work since this happened?
Yeah, I went in 20 minutes after it happened. Everyone is like making fun of me for it. You know, you have to. I'm very happy that no one younger was there because everyone been like, wait, don't move. Like, let me get a photo. And so I'm glad it was to the older people that I work with.
I will say,
it embarrassed me.
You've been deemed the custard kid in the FOX6 newsroom.
Oh boy.
I know you said you've been getting some heat from coworkers. Any nicknames come about since this happened?
No nicknames. The custard kid is that's an interesting one. I guess I'll take it. No one has. People have just been saying that they've been watching the video like nonstop. Like they'll have a bad day at work. I'm like, well, just go watch my video. It'll make you laugh. So.
It's too good. We talked with Scott, your manager, this morning. He was cracking up at the video. What are your thoughts on this going pretty viral on Facebook right now?
Yeah, I was scared to post it, but everyone was like at work was just saying it was so funny. They're like, you have to post it. I was like, I don't want to embarrass myself on the internet and post this. But I figured it would probably get some views. People have been like, oh, you should post it on like AFV or whatever. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that to myself, but.
And you said you work full time now at Gillies. How long have you been an employee there?
7 years since freshman year of high school. I've been there. Yeah.
7 years without incident until the sacred day. Have you ever seen The Office? I have to ask.
I haven't, but I think I know. Everyone's like told me. I think the clip you're gonna bring up.
Yes, I don't have the clip on me right now, but it's when Kevin drops the chili. It's the first thing I thought of here. Just such an awesome moment, and it's great that you're being such a good sport about it. What has this moment taught you? Let's get a little philosophical here, Carter.
Oh boy, I guess don't take an easy morning for granted. Like anything could go wrong at any given moment, but. You know, going throughout the rest of the day, I just was like, you can't have a bad day after this. Like, it's just going to make everyone laugh, and it'll be a good highlight to look back on in like a year or two, and it'll be good.
I'm getting oh, okay, yeah. This is a question that I just got from our news anchor, Ted Perry, that he wants to know. It's written on the paper. Will you ever be able to eat that flavor custard again, or are you swearing off of it?
No, so I got earlier this year, we posted on social media too. I got pied in the face for some content that we posted. And it was just like, because the custard mix like shot up my nose. So it's in my sinus like all day. And it's all I can taste. And like, since this weekend, I haven't been able to have custard. It's just like, I can still taste it and it's not a good taste. But no, I'll be back to eat some in like a month. I'll be good.
The same. Okay, so no custard for a little custard hiatus for now.
Yeah.
And what was that
Got to.
flavor? Was that vanilla or like?
Yeah, it was just vanilla, just our mix, and then we'll add like different flavors to it to make it whatever flavor you want.
Oh my gosh, this is too good. Like, you cannot show this video enough. And again, like, props to you for being such a good sport. And hey, some lessons learned. Who would have thought you'd learn 7 years into the job?
Yeah.
Something new. So, oh my gosh, Carter, thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget about us when you go mega famous, mega viral.
No, I won't.
And go check out Gilly's Frozen Custard, the Fond du Lac location, to be clear.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Carter, thanks so much for joining us here on the live desk. Oh my gosh.
Oh, there we go.
Stop.
Nice.
The side-by-side is so key.
That is.
You're channeling your
good.
inner Kevin from The Office. Okay, you need
I
to go
really
back
am.
and watch this scene now that we have it. Oh, too good, Carter. Thanks so much again. Guys, I'm dead. That's so funny. Shout out Carter for letting them post the video first off and for giving us so many laughs here in the Fox 6 newsroom. We are going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
It is 3:45 on your Monday afternoon. Let's bring you back out to this amazing moment at the Gilly's Frozen Custard in Fond du Lac. You guys, I cannot get enough of this video. We just had Carter Sampson on. He is the employee in this video who spilled the custard. I still can't get over when he said he can still taste the custard nearly a week after this happened. Such a great sport about it. He said he's worked there for 7 years. And then I also told him he has to watch the clip of Kevin from The Office. Let's give you a little play-by-play right here. So Carter said that this happened about 20 minutes before they opened. And then, I'm sorry, I just like can't with this. And then, what a spill, for real. And then him just standing there, he said he had to go home. His boss told him he can go home and shower and then come back to work. Of course, I keep having to reference, of course, shout out Adrian, our producer, for making this comparison. I know Delaney and Adrian are both back in the booth right now. I was cracking up that whole interview. I don't know about you guys.
You know, it reminded me of when I used to work in a Wendy's way back in high school. We had the Frosty machines, which took something similar, and it was much more unstable because if you see, he's got like a bin that he kind of loses grip of. But instead of a bin to make the Frosties, it was a bag. And we had to get lift this big bag, pour it into the ice cream, or whatever it is, the ice cream machine thing. And I remember someone did spill, not all over themselves in this extreme fashion, but I remember very vividly, he wasn't the most reliable coworker, but
Ooh, tea.
But I just remember seeing it all over the floor, and I was like, oh man, like it's that oh man feeling, that oh boy, like you see it happening in slow motion when you're there.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, and honestly, shout out his boss for being like, just go home and shower, and then somebody else handled the cleanup. Like, that's OG bosses right there, for real. And I mean, I talked to Scott, the manager, on the phone, and seemed like a G. So nice that he was able to just like go home and clean up, and then they handled it. Delaney, do you have any moments or like fails that you think of, like in a job that you used to have maybe before coming here?
I don't think anything that compares to this. I feel like he handled it so well. He was like, you know what, I'm not gonna have a bad day over this. I think it would have been the complete opposite. It would have like ruined my morning and the rest of the day.
I feel like this is just something that like you almost expect to happen, not all the time, of course, but he said he'd been there 7 years until this finally just happened. I don't know if I could be that consistent like that.
Yeah, I don't know either. The only thing I can think of is I used to be a barista at this breakfast place called Egg Harbor, and I burned my hand on the milk steamer once, but it didn't cause a mess, like nothing major that I had to clean up. But this is pretty legendary. He's gonna be a legend.
How many like paint shops do you think this has happened? I feel like paint would be way worse.
Oh my gosh, that would be much harder to clean up. But I can't get over this. And yeah, he explained too, this was before they froze it to make the custard. This was like the mix. And
yeah, I just see his hand like lose grip there, slide right off.
So, and 7 years, I love how, I wonder if he's still watching right now. But like 7 years in, it just goes to show no matter how much experience you might have, things happen. You know what I mean? So shout out Carter, great sport. This is now up on our socials. And if you missed the interview, you can check it out. We're going to post it on our website, fox6now.com. This video is also blowing up right now. We posted it on our Instagram and TikTok. So shout out Carter. When's Hollywood going to call him is the real question, because this is awesome. But yeah, I just can't get enough of this video. I'm like, we came back from break and I was like, you guys, we're going to have to do a debrief on this because it's too good. But again, awesome. And lessons can still be learned no matter how far into a job you may be. I think that's the message here. We are going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be right back to wrap things up. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
It is 3:51 on your Monday afternoon. Thanks for being with us here on Fox Local. Here's some of the big stories that we're following today. The first being that cash bond is set for Thomas Zollicoffer. He's the man accused in the shooting, that two separate shootings actually, that killed 3 people in total. This happened 2 Saturdays ago now. He appeared in court today for his initial appearance, where the state asked for a $1 million cash bail, and that is what was set, as well as a no contact order with the victims' families. So taking a look right here, here's some of the people that were involved in this who ended up getting killed. Vanessa de Herrera on the left side of your screen, as well as Scott Buchholz on your right side. They were shot and killed at 21st and Pierce. And then just within 30 minutes, a third victim was killed, Shamar Lahair, at 39th and Townsend. So we know that 36-year-old Thomas Zollicoffer was in court this afternoon. He's charged with 3 counts of first-degree intentional homicide for the killings of these 3 people. Court filings say he shot and killed his ex-girlfriend, who was De Herrera, who we saw on your screen, and 29-year-old Scott Buchholz at an apartment. And then court filings say someone then picked up Zollicoffer and drove to 39th and Townsend, where prosecutors say he shot and killed 39-year-old Shamar Lahair. Prosecutors have also charged 38-year-old Elena Cole, as you can see on your screen right here, for harboring and aiding a felon, as well as the other man right here on the right side of your screen for the same charge here that they're both facing. So we have only seen Zollicoffer in court so far, but when we do get appearances from the other 2 people charged in this, we will bring it to you right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Other big story that we're following here is we now have a statement from the Wisconsin State Fair Park following several fights that we saw on video that have been circulating around social media at the very end of the State Fair last night. So this is from State Fair Park saying, quote, Sunday evening near the close of the annual State Fair, Wisconsin State Fair Park Police, with the support of the Milwaukee and West Dallas Police Departments, responded to the disturbances on and around Wisconsin State Fair Park. This included individuals attempting to gain unauthorized access to the fair, as well as disturbances involving groups on the grounds. Law enforcement and security staff responded quickly as they could to these incidents occurred. Then it goes on to say, for 11 days, hundreds of thousands of guests came together for a safe and successful Wisconsin State Fair. The incidents Sunday evening were isolated to the final hours of the fair and are not representative of the experience our guests enjoyed throughout the event. The behavior is always unacceptable and is not what we expect or will tolerate at State Fair Park. The statement then goes on to say they had enhanced security, including several law enforcement groups responding. Those resources allowed our security and public safety teams to respond quickly Sunday evening. We continually review our security plans with our law enforcement partners and look for ways to make the fair even safer for our guests. We also know that no shots were fired last night. That is according to the Wisconsin State Fair Park, contrary to other reports that they said that they were getting in, but no shots fired here. So let's take a look at the video that we did get cleared here that shows some of this incident here. Jason Calvi posted this to X right now. He is going to have a report coming up on Fox 6 News at 4, just kind of breaking down what exactly was going on here. But it just seemed wherever the camera panned, there was another fight that had broken out. So very, very tense moments for fairgoers in the final moments at the Wisconsin State Fair here. We know we've seen several teen takeovers over the past few months, ever since the weather's been getting warmer here. So we know that we did get the official response now from the Wisconsin State Fair Park about what exactly happened here, confirming that this was an incident that did occur. I'm working to pull up the official statement from them because there is some more information about what exactly happened here. But again, we know that this happened late last night in the final hours of the fair here. We are working to get more information as this investigation gets underway here. So once we have that, we'll bring it to you. And again, Jason Calvi will have a full report of exactly what happened here in just a few minutes coming up on Fox 6 News at 4. Let's give you a live look outside right now. This is at American Family Field. Roof open. We're hoping it stays that way for tomorrow because we are getting ready for the Brewers to take on the Mariners during Brew Crew Tuesday. Starts tomorrow at 6:30 right here on Fox 6, but then tune in at 5:30 for a special edition of Fox 6 News. It's called Tailgate Live. Super excited. You can catch our Racine Kenosha County reporter Ben Hansen as well as meteorologist Holly Baker. Also Kim Murphy. What a lineup. Before we even get into the who's playing tomorrow, I mean, we've got such great players representing Fox 6 tomorrow. I can't wait to see what Tailgate Live has in store. It's so much fun to tune in and kind of see all the shenanigans happening. We know Brewers Tailgate is so much fun, and you guys are what make it fun. So if you are headed to the American Family Field tomorrow for a tailgate, be on the lookout for some of the Fox 6 News personalities that will be there. And also, Six Pack of Questions, a series we do here for Brew Crew Tuesdays. It's hosted by our Ted Perry. This week, the questions are for Brewers pitcher Robert Gasser. You can scan that QR code on your screen right there. Ask a question. I know Ted has some top contenders right now, but he's still looking for more submissions. So get creative and get a chance for your questions to be answered again this week by Brewers pitcher Robert Gasser. Well, what a day here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm going to leave you with this video one more time. Shout out Carter Sampson again. We just spoke with him here on the Live Desk, and I'm going to leave you with that. Have a great evening. Fox 6 News at